Hello, gamers. You're listening to the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. This is episode number 117. And welcome back to another edition of the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. I'm Brent Felsing, and joining me tonight, Frankie Ayler, Ben Boyce. Gentlemen, the week we had been waiting for arrived. It's Destiny 2 week. There's a bunch of other stuff that happened this week, but we don't really care. Ben put together an outline. I didn't read it. I didn't care. It was just all Destiny 2. So how you guys doing tonight? Frankie, what's go with you, homie?
I'm doing well. Still making my way through the Surge, which I can talk about now, by the way.
Yes, you can.
I can tell you guys that I think that game is really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It is. That game plays like a dream playing it on the Pro. The Digital Foundry analysis came out this week, which back up everything I'll tell you now. 1080p, pretty much locked at 60. Apparently there's a frame rate or a frame or two dropped here and there, but I'm not a scientist. I don't notice this stuff. So, Man, dude, that game has been great. I'm about 15 hours in now. I think I have about another 10 hours to go, maybe. But it's really cool. Story obviously not going to be super important, but I feel like the Souls games are more about the journey than the destination, if you know what I mean. So getting through there and taking on some of those bosses, and I know you also picked up the game, so you can attest to this as well, but trying to figure out the patterns of some of those bosses is just, you're going to get just stomped, and it's a rough time.
It is.
So
I experienced some frame rates, but I figured it was just because I was throwing my PS4 controller off my PS4 as PAX kept pounding my ass. What? So,
yeah, that sounds right.
That was seriously a very, very tough fight. And I was texting you back and forth. I'm like, dude, what am I doing wrong? And like, it was one of those things where I finally beat the guy. And I mean, I had a sliver of life. I mean, I'd fought good through like the first couple times I'd gotten like really lower his energy down. And then I made some dumb mistakes. I did exactly what you told me not to. Don't get greedy. I found myself under his little stomp multiple times. And I was like, I am going to this up again. And I didn't. I got lucky. I killed him. But I was really close to dying. It was a tough battle. But no, like you said, it runs great at 1080p 60. Very, very smooth. I went and checked it out in the quality mode. And it looks good. I mean, it's a sharper image. It looks good. But for a game like the Surge, much like all these other games, you really want the smooth frame rate for the combat. It's just, I think it's a necessity.
Yeah. I had a moment like that with the second boss where I guess when you kill him, things around him start exploding. I killed him with literally a sliver of health left, no more health, injectables or anything. So I died. So the trophy popped up for killing him, and it's like the screen starting to grade to that no vital signs found screen. So I threw my controller because I was pissed because, look, the first dude, he also was really frustrating, but that second boss, he's the one you see a lot in the Digital Foundry video. Actually fighting him is a pain in the ass. So once I finally got that guy down and died, like I thought for sure, like I have to go back to him now and fight him all over again. Great. But no, luckily, once you kill the boss, I went back down there and he was dead. So I picked up all of my tech scrap, headed upstairs, hopped on the train, went to the next area, and decided that was a good point to call it a night. So, right. But that's been the only way I've been making it through this game. Once I've noticed that I'm starting to get sloppy, you kind of go back out from the medical bays, and all the enemies reset when you go back out. So if I start dying a lot sooner, like to the second or third guy I'm running into, I'm like, all right, I'm starting to get sloppy. I'm going to start playing stupidly. I got to sit down. I got to walk away for a little bit. So that's what I've been doing to get through it. And it's actually helped tremendously. I'm sure like seasoned Souls players are just laughing like, listen to this noob. Like, yeah. So It's been a really cool learning experience, though. I'm really looking forward to finishing that game, really liking it a lot. So I'm going to be bold and say that hopefully I'll have a review sometime this week, because I'm really going to go hard at finishing it within the next couple days. So
cool.
Can't wait. It's been great, so look forward to that.
Looking forward to that. And yes, listeners, the word is a huge part of playing these types of games. It's a technical term when you play a Souls-like game, so get used to that.
Also, buy an extra controller with your copy of the game.
Yes, or put rubber mats on the floor. Whatever one works. Ben, what's going on with you, man? What have you been up to? What'd you play this week?
Nothing much, man. Just doing my thing, trying to get by day here.
Yeah.
But I played a few games this week. We fired up Seasons After Fall on the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight. Very cool title, very beautiful title. It's got this hand painted, animated style to it. It's very storybook like in its presentation, and it kind of fits in with the narrative of this guardian spirit, and you inhabit this fox and try and get these different abilities from these different animal guardians around the world, and progress through the world that way. So it's a bit of a slow game during the first hour or so. It's not too terribly challenging. It's not too much going on. There's no really enemies to encounter or anything like that. It's just a lot of you running back and forth, some light platforming. And then when you first get your hands on some of these, the crux of the game is you can change the seasons, and that's how you solve the puzzles in the game. So, for instance, a geyser of water, you would change the season to winter. It would ice the water, and that becomes a platform to you to jump on. So that's the kind of stuff that you can do with the season changing mechanic, which I really like. I think it's a novel mechanic. I think it's a really cool way to solve puzzles. So I got to experience a little bit of that in the first hour of the game. Didn't get into a whole lot of it, but I know that that's going to become more prevalent as I move through the game even further. So it's a bit slow at first to get into it, but it is beautiful. It's got a great presentation, got an interesting story, and hopefully I can play some more of it in the future because it is intriguing. So check that out. It's on our YouTube channel now if you want to see what that game's all about. Also got a chance to jump in there and fire up some Injustice too. So I've been waiting for this game for a really long time, and this game delivers. It's really, really good. It's an awesome fighting game. The performance is spectacular. Just runs buttery smooth like it should. Fast-paced combo system we've come to expect from NetherRealm with Mortal Kombat, with the first Injustice. That's alive and well here. The super moves are awesome. There's this really addicting and really cool multiverse mode, they call it, where you can go through and earn different loot for your characters. I'm curious to see what they do with that and how they implement that into the game as we continue to progress through here. But it's a great fighting system. If you're a fighting fan, you owe it to yourselves to pick up Injustice 2. It's a must purchase. It's a must play. Great roster of characters. I can't wait to get in there and learn some more characters and play through the story mode and just dig into it a little bit more. Hopefully we'll do some more streams on it in the future. Maybe get Frankie in the ring, go a few rounds with him as well. So yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Highly recommended.
Awesome. Not going to pick it up. Let's see.
I picked it up.
Frankie did pick it up. Oh, no.
Good job, Frankie.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see you guys square off online, man. We'll have to play some bets on that one. What did I play? I played Farpoint. I finally got my hands on it. I got a video up on our YouTube channel as well. Check that out. It's 20 minutes or 12 minutes of gameplay. It's a blast, dude. It's really what I'd hoped it would be in terms of a gameplay perspective. You know, everything I wanted out of a first-person shooter in VR. The PlayStation VR aim controller works great. If it's light, it feels good. It controls well. There's just so many moments in that game where you forget that you're holding a controller. It does such a great job one-to-one and, peeking around corners and tilting your gun and looking at it. It's a very immersive experience. The game itself, Farpoint, it's kind of a slow burn early on. There's a lot of traversing the map, getting from point A to point B, but you get some good enemies that you encounter, and the combat is just where it's at. Like, I feel like this could have easily been a technical game, just to kind of like a demo to show you what AIM could do, but I think Impulse Gear did a good enough job to kind of really give you a story to keep you engaged as much as you could. It's not going to win any awards, but it's there, and it doesn't feel hokey. It doesn't feel tacked down. It feels like they were like, hey, look, let's give it a try. Let's try to make this an engaging game. And so far, the story is pretty interesting. It's nothing great, but it's nice to have that there, so it doesn't feel like this is just a demo that I paid for, $70 or $80 for the controller in the game. I feel like I'm playing a quality game right now. So the combat feels really good. Ben and I are actually going to stream some co-op on Sunday night. We're going to play cooperatively. We'll talk about the game then as well. So make sure you stay tuned to our YouTube channel, Short Pause Gaming. We'll have a co-op video up this week. Should be a lot of fun.
You can check out some extended play from Brent's session on our weekly Rewind post.
Yes, that'll be up. But by the time you hear this, that will be available for you to check out. That video, viewer discretion is advised. There were a couple moments where It sounded like I was playing a Dark Souls game. So lots of F-bombs, some good scares, and there is just an epic boss battle that you'll see it on the video, but until you play it and you're actually there, it's a completely different experience. Like, it'll just blow your mind when you're up close and the boss comes out of the cave in front of you, and the scale of this thing. Like I said, what you see in the video will not do it justice. What you see in game is really breathtaking, and I had a blast with that. And the best part about this is, I don't know if it was because of the aim controller and I'm more accustomed to first-person shooters. I was a sweaty mess the first day I played this because it was just a lot to take in. But during that boss battle, I actually felt really good. I didn't feel sick at all, and I was moving around a lot in the boss battle. It is a very hectic battle, and I actually felt really good. So I'm really excited that I've been able to play this game with very little issue like I've had some of the other games. So that's a double bonus right there.
Looking forward to playing it tomorrow night, man.
Cool. We'll have it up on the site. Like I said, make sure you follow us on YouTube, Short Pause Gaming. All right, boys. We have so much Destiny 2 stuff to talk about. We're going to bring Bender in here shortly to talk about that. But let's get through this new release list first because we have a ton of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, let's hop right into it. So we'll start off this week's new release list with Rime, which is a Friday release, May 26th. It's coming to both digital and retail on the PS4 and Xbox One. The Switch release will be at a later date, presumably sometime this summer. You know, we've talked about Rime a lot on the podcast over the last few weeks and months as the game's neared its release here, and you know, I've been upfront about I wasn't sure how this game was going to turn out. It just with the way everything not ended, the game's still coming out on PlayStation, but the way the exclusivity deal kind of came to an end with them and Sony had me worried about the state of the game. But it sounds like it's coming along. You know, Bender's played it. He said it was fun. A lot of people have got some hands-on time with it. Edge recently gave it a 9, which is promising in terms of its early potential. So I'm definitely interested to see how this game, you know, turns out when it releases this Friday. Brent, what are your thoughts on Rime?
I'm very interested in this game. It looks very beautiful. Bender had a lot of good things to say about it. It's kind of got this mysterious mystique about it. Like, no one's really sure what this game is going to be about. So I am interested in it, but I'm not sure I'll be picking it up this week. I still got a lot of Farpoint to play. I started the Surge, but I am going to be very interested to see what Bender has to say about this game.
Yeah, it's been a busy month for games. A lot of stuff in the backlog on the docket still to get to. Frankie, what are you thinking about Rime right now?
I actually have it pre-ordered on the PlayStation Network because I think it's 10% off, so $26.99 right now.
Okay.
I'm excited about it. You know, it has that kind of Wind Waker art style to it. That's what initially drew me to the game. So it sounds like it's going to be very puzzle heavy, which I'm looking forward to. Hopefully the puzzles are good. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get in there, try it out. I don't know if it'll be this week because there's another release this week that I'm much more excited about, and I really want to get the Surge completely squared away. So. Soon though, that's on the hopefully won't sit too long in the backlog.
Yeah, it's definitely got a Legend of Zelda Team Eco type of vibe to it about itself. It's always been a really good looking game, a really interesting looking title. So like we mentioned, Bender's had some hands-on time with it at PAX South earlier this or was it earlier this year or last year? Whenever you went to PAX South, he got some.
I believe it was February is when he went.
He got to spend some time with this game, and he had some good things to say about it. And like I said, the early returns have been very positive on this game, so it sounds like Rime has potentially weathered the storm here and come on the other end as a better game than I certainly thought it would end up being. So Rime, Friday release once again. If you're waiting for the Switch version, it will not be out this Friday. Be on the lookout for that probably sometime this summer. Next on this list is the game you were just alluding to, Franklin, Get Even, another Friday release that's coming out this week. Tell me about this, man. I don't know a whole lot about Get Even. It's some type of a psychological first-person. I don't even know if you'd call it a shooter. What is this game?
So, from what I understand of it, it's a psychological first-person shooter where you're kind of in this. I believe it's some kind of asylum, and you wake up. You don't remember much about who you are, how you got there. All you remember is that there's a girl and a bomb. So you're basically making your way through this facility. You don't know, I believe you have a little camera, like a little cell phone or something you're carrying around that, you can scan the environment with. Enemies pop out. Sometimes they're real, sometimes they're not. So that's the gist of that game, I know. It's actually made by the Farm 51, who are the guys who more or less were the original team that were doing Painkiller with People Can Fly. So they kind of spun off into this other side studio and have been cranking out, more Painkiller content. So this is kind of their first game. I believe it's their first game. No, I think they had Deadfall Adventures was their one before this, but it's been a while since they've put a game out, so I'm just looking forward to hopping in there. I really like them, so if anyone could do a really creepy first-person shooter, it's them. The only thing I'm curious about is I know at some point last year they were talking about VR support. I don't know that it's shipping with it. I haven't seen much about the game actually since then. It's been a couple trailers here and there, but not a lot of actual hard information about the game. So, look forward to hopping into it though this week. If a pre-order page goes up on PSN, I'm going to try and stream it on Thursday night. Otherwise, maybe something on Memorial Day I'll fire up a stream. But I'm really looking forward to hopping into that game.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know a lot about the Painkiller franchise. Is that's something I should look into?
Maybe it's kind of goofy. You have guns that shoot, shurikens and lightning and all kinds of crazy stuff, and you're just killing demons. I don't know how well they've aged. I know there was a Hell and Damnation on the PS3 that I don't know was all that great.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so it's an intriguing sounding title. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it. I guess I'll just kind of wait and see how this one turns out, but it's definitely got some potential. It's got some promise. So Get Even once again will be out on Friday alongside Rhyme. Next on this list, guys, is there any chance that Friday the 13th the game is a good title? Nope. Is there any chance this game is good?
I mean, I'm keeping my expectations very, very low, and just going in for like the nostalgia effect to see how true to the series they are in this game. Like I said, they love the series. It's very clear that they love the series, and they do show that in some form, in some ways, in some of the videos I've seen, like the character models, the customization. There's a lot of cool stuff in there that I think fans of the series will enjoy. But in terms of gameplay and what kind of depth we're looking at here, I'm assuming it'll be as deep as the plots from the movies themselves, and that is very shallow. So, I hope it's not a total disaster. I mean, if it's dumb fun, that's something I can get behind. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of the movies. I love them. They're part of my childhood growing up. And, I'm keeping my expectations very low, but it would be nice to see if this had some kind of depth to it.
I mean, the killings by Jason in this game are gruesome. They're
very
extremely graphic and brutal, and some of them are cringeworthy watching these things. So they've captured that aspect of the franchise, definitely. I'm trying to figure out how this game plays or what kind of game it is. It's marketed often. I read about it as a survival horror title, so I don't know if this is just a matter of as somebody running away from Jason. I know there's a multiplayer mode as well.
That's
Frankie,
actually all it is.
It's just a multiplayer mode?
It's a 4-on-1 multiplayer game.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So
except maybe better.
So there's no single player mode at all.
There will be. So this is the frustrating part. I backed this game on Kickstarter, so I've been reading all the updates they've been sending out about it. The game was initially supposed to come out last year, but it got delayed to this year because they're adding a single player campaign to it. Not launching with a single player campaign because it's still not ready. So I don't know why they bothered delaying it if the campaign wasn't going to come out with the game, but yeah. So this is you have 4 counselors. There we go. I get English.
Camp counselors. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got the 4 counselors, and you're basically trying to fight off Jason. I know that the thing they're talking about, when they were developing the game, like they really wanted to make the counselors feel, fun to play as, just as fun to play as Jason. I don't know how you can do that, but the cool thing is the actor that plays Jason in the movies actually did the motion capture for him.
Kane Hodder. Yeah, Kane Hodder. Yep.
Yeah, so he did the motion captures and all that, so that's cool. I have moderate expectations for it, but I'm not expecting anything great.
Yeah, I mean, like Brent said, it's clear they love the franchise. They've expressed that through some of the videos they've released, and by the fact that they have the guy who played Jason doing the motion capture and stuff. So they clearly have an affinity for the franchise. It's like you said, they delayed the game to give it a single player campaign, and then didn't release the single player campaign with the game when it releases, which pretty much tells me all I need to know about this game at this point. So, man. Yeah, I hope it's good too. I think it has potential to be fun, even as a multiplayer title. So, Frankie, you'll have to let us know how that one turns out. I assume you're getting it as a Kickstarter backer sometime this week.
Yeah, sometime this week. I hope.
We know how these things go, though. They don't always turn out the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, so about that in particular, I backed the physical tier. That's not going to be coming this week. So apparently all the physical backers are going to get codes as well, as they're slowly producing the physical version. So hopefully I get a code this week.
Yeah, at least you get a code. Well, that's cool. Good on them for that. Yeah, but I'm really curious about this game, dude. When you get this, you're gonna have to stream it. Let us know something. I'm really curious to see how this game is gonna turn out.
Frankie, I'm actually gonna buy this without you getting your opinion first. So I'll hop in there and play the multiplayer with you, dude.
Perfect. As soon as I get my code, I will let you know.
Cool.
A classic Brent Felsing move. That'll be out this Friday, May 26th as well. Lots of Friday releases this week. Also on Friday, Guilty Gear Zerd, Rev 2. So this is the update to Guilty Gear Zerd Revelator. Exerd, however the hell you say this game.
I think it's Zerd. I've always heard Zerd.
Okay, Zerd. Coming out Friday, this is the new update for it. The Rev 2 update has some new characters, some new mechanics, the typical stuff you expect with an upgrade. Obviously, Guilty Gear, fantastic fighting game franchise. I believe this one's at EVO this year. Is that correct, Frankie? So we'll get to see some more of this game in action with Rev 2 at EVO this year. These are always really exciting battles. I mean, the Blaze Blue franchise also, is along a similar line as Guilty Gear. Probably had the greatest grand finals in EVO history during the Blaze Blue tournament a few years back. So hopefully we'll see something like that during the Guilty Gear tournament this year. But if you're a fighting game fan, you've probably got this one on your radar. You can actually pick up the upgrade for Revelator for only $20. So if you already have the first game, just pick up the update for it and get all the new stuff, which I will probably be doing myself. Next on this list, Embers of Miram. This is a game that, if all goes according to plan, Bender will be streaming this for us on the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight this Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, on our YouTube channel. That's Short Pause Gaming on YouTube. I'll be out of town on business this week, so Bender has bravely decided to step in and brave the Embers of Miram for us and play along to that. So we can look forward to that. Very, very cool looking title. It's one he sampled at PAX as well earlier this year, about kind of this cat-like creature that splits into two separate entities that you have to control and use to solve puzzles and whatnot. So really, really curious to see how that one turns out. All right, fellas, let's breeze through the rest of this list here. Like we said, we got a lot of stuff to talk through in the news this week. So Portal Knights, also a really, really cool looking title. This game, I've been watching videos of it. It runs great. It's a 60 frames game. It combines like Minecraft and traditional RPGs into a very cool looking title. So it's very charming. I love the designs of the characters. Looks like it's gonna have some great boss battles. Looks like a really fun game. I actually really want to check this one out. That one's coming out this week. Samurai Warrior: Spirit of Sonata. It's coming out digitally and at retail. This is of course the samurai take on the Dynasty Warriors formula. Spellspire, which is a letter quest type of a game, is cross-buy with the Vita. That's coming out this week from our friends at 10 Tons. They usually make a good game. This one I'm gonna do my best to pronounce it, but Uda Warumano, Mask of Deception, is coming out digital and retail to the PS4 this week. This is a visual novel based on the popular anime franchise. Pax Nora is a card battling RPG. Deliriant, a game we mentioned last week, is this student-developed game that kind of explores like coping and pain and has almost a Gone Home type of a feel to it. Smugglecraft is a narrative-based hovercraft game. It's which is probably the first time I've ever uttered that phrase. Eternal Ring is a PS2 on PS4 game. Actually, a very early From Software title. So if you want to see kind of their early RPG takes on the PS2, pick this one up. Star Ocean, another PS2 on PS4 game, Till the End of Time. Very popular entry in the series. That's getting the PS4 treatment this week. Arcade Archives Neo Geo has two titles, The Last Blade and World Heroes 2. Will be out Thursday, May 25th, so pick up those classic fighting games if you're so inclined. Bugs Box, looks like a low-budget Bomberman type of game. That's a Thursday release. Puzzle Showdown 4K. Let you do just what it says. Build puzzles, and you can do it against other people. So have fun with that. A couple things we also want to mention on the beta front. Marvel Heroes Omega is entering open beta this Tuesday. So as far as I know, the progression wipe is either already happened or it's going to happen soon. So when we go into the open beta, everybody will be starting fresh there. Frankie, you and I got a chance to play this a little bit with Bender and Jamie not too long ago, and I think this game's fun, man. I think it's really fun. It has the potential to be extremely addicting if you dedicate yourself to it. You know, it's one of those games that if you spend a couple hours with it, you're probably going to get pulled in for the long haul. From what I understand, it's going to be not too much of a let me put it this way: you won't have to pay to get all the heroes in this game. You can naturally play through the game, and the game's good about giving you the tokens, whatever you need to unlock the various characters in the game. So I'm looking forward to that from a free to play perspective. But what do you think, man? With Marvel Heroes entering open beta here, you excited to see how this game progresses here?
Yeah, I really liked what I played of it too. A lot of fun. I was in there with. I bought the Deadpool Founders Pack, so that was getting to play as. I love Deadpool, so
yeah.
But
Everybody loves Deadpool. Man.
Oh yeah, he's great. You know, so
He's all right.
I'm sorry. Did you say something?
But just like the quips that they have for each. Look, there's a ton of heroes in this game, and like they've got quips for all these. You know, you're running around with, I think Jamie was playing a Squirrel Girl. Like Deadpool's making stupid comments about that. So
yeah, it's awesome that they have people as obscure as Squirrel Girl, which is in that game, which is rad.
Yeah, but that game. Between that and Destiny, like if you guys ever are like, hey man, let's do some Marvel time, like I'm there. Like that game is great. I really cannot wait to actually get in there and play a ton of it. I don't know how much of the open beta I'm going to play, just because I assume there's going to be another wipe before the full game comes out. So, but I think Jamie said the wipe happened Friday night, so he's been playing it. They're offering some currency for playing it this weekend. So,
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, I ended up deleting it just because I needed room on the PS4 because my hard drive is full. My gig is full. Weird.
Yeah.
But
that
up. Game's really cool though. Check it out. Yeah. It's I think Daredevil is the free character they're giving everyone for the open beta. So
yeah, I think they're giving him to you permanently, I believe, as part of the beta. But I'm not 100% sure on that. But that would be awesome to add him to the collection.
Totally.
So you picked up Deadpool. I picked up the War Machine pack. So be able to use him as well. And like I said, it sounds like you're going to be able to earn characters through the natural course of play, so you won't have to necessarily shell out big bucks if you don't want to get all the different characters. Brad, I think this is something you really get into, man. It plays like a Diablo more than anything, or like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, one of those kind of games in an MMO form. So it's a really cool formula. I assume the technical aspects of it, the performance of the game will continue to get better as they iterate on it and come out of beta and into the actual release of the game. So if they can nail that stuff down, this is a really, really fun title. And like I said, man, I think you get into this one as well.
Yeah, I do want to get into it. It sounds fun, and everything you guys have said about it sounds very promising. It's just these types of games require so much time to get a lot out of it. And with a lot of these games, I'm trying to finish up before Destiny 2 arrives. I mean, seriously, we're less than 3 months away or less than 4 months away from Destiny 2. And I have so many games I have to play, and I just feel like if I try to get all these games done, there's just no way I'm going to get what I need out of Marvels to really enjoy it. And I don't want to start playing a little bit and then feel guilty about not playing it at all.
Yeah. And the one thing it has going for it is that it's free. So.
Yep, that's always a plus.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that whether or not that, it's just the actual playing the game.
Yeah.
That's where my troubles are right now, is playing these games.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you, man. I got a backlog that stretches back about 20 years, so I understand I understand the whole playing games thing. But if that's something we can make time for, I'd definitely get into it. It seems like a great game that we could play during the summer if some of this release schedule dies down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So this Tuesday, hop into the open beta, free to play for all. Jump in there, see what it's all about, see if this is something that you'd get into as well. All right. Let's rock through the rest of this list now. Gwent also getting a public beta. This will start this Wednesday. So if you've been curious about the Witcher card game, check that out. And Crossout, a game that's in kind of an early access mode right now. The Founders Bundles for the title expire May 30th. So if you are interested in getting in on this on the ground floor and getting some of the exclusive stuff that you get as a part of that, make sure you check that out before May 30th. Also on the PlayStation side of things this week are the Vita releases. So Shu, the very cool looking like puzzle platformer game is making its way over to the Vita this week. It's a cross-buy with PS4 title, so if you have it on PS4, you'll have it on the Vita when it releases this week. It's also coming alongside some DLC, which will be released for free on the PS4 version, and it's included in the Vita version here. Now I gotta say this game again. Uda wa Rumano, Mask of Deception, coming to the Vita as well this week, both digitally and at retail. The exceedingly goofy Kung Fury Street Rage is releasing this Thursday, May 25th. That's a Frankie favorite there. Plantera is coming over to the Vita. I believe this one was on 3DS recently. And Spellspire, the kind of Letter Quest inspired game, once again cross-buy with PS4 on the Vita. On the Xbox One side of things, Phantom Dust snuck out as a free release this past week. Either of you guys pick it up?
Yeah. I have it downloaded. I haven't played it yet though.
Yeah. So I was kind of surprised that they just dropped it like that. I mean, it seemed like they were making this to be like a big deal, like this was like a big franchise for them, but then they just dropped it for free for everybody. So I guess that tells us all we need to know about that.
They want the multiplayer base.
I guess, yeah.
That's what they're gonna make their money on. They want to sell multiplayer focused crap. So
yeah. Arcade Archives Neo Geo The Last Blade also available now on the Xbox One. Portal Knights is coming this week on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Embers of Miram will be on the platform alongside Unit 4, a cool-looking old-school platformer, 2D like action platformer. Rhymes a Friday released on the Xbox One as well alongside Friday the 13th. Everspace gets its official 1.0 launch, so coming out of its beta, early access, whatever you want to call that. It's an Xbox Play Anywhere title. So it's launching first on Xbox One. So if you're interested in that title, check it out on Friday. Get Even's a Friday release alongside Spellspire and Constructor, which is a city builder. On the Nintendo side of things, what we missed last week, Arcade Archives, Neo Geo, Galaxy Fight, Universal Warriors. These games are everywhere. It's on the eShop now for $7.99. This week on the Switch, a couple of big titles for the platform. Disgaea 5 Complete Edition, which sounds like it's a pretty good version of that game. It's coming over to the platform this week on Tuesday. There's a demo available now on the eShop if you want to test it out and see what it's all about. And then Ultra Street Fighter 2, The Final Challengers, is a Friday release. Another Friday game. Every damn game this week's coming out on Friday for some reason. But it's coming out on Friday. I'm probably gonna end up picking this up, but my gosh. The price tag on this thing is exorbitant. The D-pad on the Switch is I don't know how in the hell I'm going to play a fighting game with it. This seems like this is going to be a pro controller only type of a game. But I don't know. I love Street Fighter, so I do want to pick this up. But man, $40 for this thing is a bit extreme.
I canceled mine.
Yeah.
I put that money towards Injustice 2.
Yeah, I mean that's clearly the better use of money and in terms of a package. You know, I mean, the Injustice 2 package is far superior to, I assume, what we're going to get with the Final Challengers. But we'll see how it all turns out. You know, maybe it's a great version of the game. Maybe the Switch D-pad holds up, but I just don't see how because it's buttons, so I don't even see how it's possible.
I can't wait for you to whoop JD's ass.
Yeah, hopefully I'll get in there, go a few rounds with JD. Maybe beat him up and down the arena a little bit, see what that's all about. So, yeah. So hopefully it turns out good. I'm excited that Evil Ryu's in there. He's one of my favorite guys. So get in there and go a few rounds with him. All right, let's finish this out. So on the Wii U, what we missed last week, Blazing Lasers is a eShop Virtual Console TurboGrafx 16 title. It's on there for $6. This week on the Wii U, Darksiders War Mastered Edition finally makes its way over there. So yeah, if you've been waiting with bated breath for the braided. All right, fuck it. The Girl and the Robot is a Thursday release that'll be out for $10, and Block Zombies is also coming out on Thursday for $5. What we missed last week on the 3DS, Mysterious Stars 3D: A Fairy Tale is an $8 title. Drancia Saga is a 2D platformer. It's on there now for $5. This week on the 3DS, Fire Emblem Heroes getting some of its DLC. Undaunted Heroes and the Lost Altars pack are both going to be available. Brent, take us into this very busy news schedule now.
Nobody cares about what we just talked about. They want to hear about some Destiny 2. So, Bender wasn't able to be a part of the show on Saturday night, so we decided to record our Destiny 2 reactions on Friday night. We're going to pull that up right now. We're going to bring in Bender. Here comes the Destiny 2 gameplay reveal reaction.
the moment we've been eagerly anticipating for many, many moons now is finally upon us. The official, like, a gameplay reveal of Destiny 2 has happened. It happened a few days ago. We're all pretty much on cloud 9 right now. I tell you what, man, this thing revealed a lot more than I thought it was going to reveal. Like, I thought this might just be, a trailer, or maybe it might be something similar to the way Activision handled the World War II Call of Duty reveal a few weeks ago, where it was, we got a short trailer, and then everything outside of that was interviews and discussions about the game. But we saw a lot of the game in action. We learned a lot about the game that we didn't know before. And, man, Destiny's a game that we've all spent 300-400 plus hours in. And I know we're all excited to get into Destiny 2, man. I can't wait. I had goosebumps watching that presentation. Like, I was really, really pumped, really excited for what we saw. Let's just start at the top here. So, right out the gate, we get this badass, like, Zavala trailer. So we learn a little bit about, like, the history of the Guardians. We see, we actually see Zavala die and get resurrected by the ghosts. We get to just a brief glimpse into how kind of this all works with the ghosts and the light and the Traveler and all that stuff. We see Zavala he's basically Lance Reddick is just the badass dude that he is. Just narrates this kind of intro cinematic to the show, which I don't even know if it's going to be part of the game, but it seems like it would be like an introductory scene for the game itself. So he narrates this thing, and it's just kind of like I said, like a history of the Guardians, kind of some backstory on Destiny, and then we see Zavala actually getting to kick people's ass. We see him like doing the Titan Striker super move and just eviscerating enemies. We see him just doing some like close quarters combat and just taking out the Fallen, and it was really, really awesome. Set the stage right from there. After that, Luke Smith comes out on stage. He, of course, is the game director for Destiny 2. He was the kind of mastermind behind the Taken King, so it only made sense that he would spearhead Destiny 2 moving forward. And he came out and he emphasized right from the get-go that this was a new beginning. He had the giant Destiny 2 logo behind him, and he, basically he wanted to let people know, like, look, this is a brand new beginning for Destiny. Okay, this is a chance for us to start over, for veterans and for new players alike to kind of join together on this new journey and start from scratch. So he mentioned there's 3 pillars that led the design behind Destiny 2. So that is a world that pulls you in, amazing things to do, and always someone to play with. And these are kind of pillars that they were going to hit on throughout the presentation there. Mm-hmm. So let's start with that. Brent, I'm going to head over to you first. So the intro cinematic, some of the stuff that Luke's talking about as he comes on the stage. How are you feeling at the beginning of this thing, man?
Early on with the obviously the Zavala opening trailer, kind of seeing him dying over and over again and being revived from the ghost, seeing them build the tower. I mean, they're essentially building the tower, the city below and the tower above. You kind of see this whole thing playing out just leading up to the events of where we took over in the first Destiny game. I love that, and then I loved everything we heard from Luke Smith because it really sounds like they are taking it to heart. All the criticisms that Destiny players had to say, I'd say 99% of Destiny players wanted more story. They wanted to know what the hell was going on, more about this world. They were tired about reading Grimoire cards. Now they've come out and said, look, there is going to be a lot of story here. I would say we probably saw more cinematics in this reveal trailer than what we saw in Destiny 1 overall. I mean, if you really think about it, everything that we saw, we got more info out of these trailers that we saw here than we saw out of anything in Destiny 1, arguably. And that just has me hyped. I mean, that really shows that they took it to heart, that they really want to deliver a story that people can buy into, characters they want to love, they want to see through to the end. It's just I took a lot from that early on. That's what I took from it. They are focusing a lot on story and giving gamer or Destiny fans more of what they want.
For sure, and I think that's one of the things that Bungie has always done well. I feel like they listen to their fans. I feel like there's a constant dialogue going back and forth, and whether you like some of the changes they make, or you don't. I feel like they're always trying to listen to the fans. They're always trying to make changes and constantly improve their game. Frankie, what were you thinking after the beginning of this thing, man? We see the Zavala trailer. We see Luke kind of talking about some of the things they're planning to do with the game. What were your early thoughts?
Like I'm sure you guys, I was extremely hyped, like seeing that first trailer, watching Zavala go through all this stuff. Like you can, like Brent said, like essentially, like you learn more in that like 2-minute clip than you did about Zavala throughout all of Destiny 1. So, I thought that was really great. I'm a big fan of all the stuff he's talking about. Destiny 2 is a new beginning, and I'm glad that, we're kind of getting a chance to kind of actually delve into the stuff that players really want to understand about the Destiny universe. What makes these characters tick, we'll talk about that more in a little bit because there's some stuff that happens, but I'm excited. Like I everything he's out there talking about, I'm just like, yes, like I'm so happy that Bungie actually really gives a shit about this community, this franchise, everything about it. Like it feels like a love letter to the fans. Like everything they're out here, like, look, we hear you. This is what you want. This is what we want to give you. This is what's happening. Like it's just incredible. Goosebumps right now. Excited.
Bender, dude, how awesome was it to see Zavala just kicking ass and doing like Titan moves and just like just doing all this badass stuff, narrating this kind of history of some of the early history of humanity after the fall of the Golden Age. We see, like Brent was talking about, we see them building the city, we see the Traveler, we see kind of the last city being created and the last remains of humanity kind of coming together. We learn a little bit about how Guardians and Ghosts and all that kind of stuff works. You had to be hyped watching this too, man.
Yeah, definitely. It was really cool. The part near the beginning where he's like Zavala's like fighting the Fallen and stuff, and he keeps dying, and the Ghost is resurrecting him. That's something that we don't often get to see, that process from that angle. I mean, we're always dying in the game, and you just take for granted that the Ghost brings you back. And it was that scene is really cool where they're kind of building the tower and establishing everything, and looking up at looking out over the city. And one thing I thought was interesting was, there's a little girl standing next to Zavala, and she's looking up at the ships flying overhead. Looked kind of like a young Amanda Holiday. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know if you guys caught that, but yeah, definitely a cool like flashback cutscene. So I thought that was very, very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but she does look up and she sees that ship flying towards the Traveler. So that's a good connection there. She obviously the shipwright of humanity there. Zavala says something interesting in there too, where he says every time the Ghost brings them back, they have no memory of who they were before. Which I thought was an interesting bit of lore that we didn't know prior to that. So maybe that's something that will be explored further in the game. Not entirely sure, but interesting nugget nonetheless. So so after this opening section here, Luke talks about some of the pillars of the game. He gives us a few tidbits of information, which we'll delve further into more and more. But then he dives right into this mission, Homecoming, which is going to be the first mission in the game. It's kind of the intro of the game. And when I saw what was happening, I was like, oh, man, we're going to get to play like the Cabal siege of the last city. When I was originally watching the kind of teaser trailers for the game, I thought this was something that may have already happened, and we would kind of join the game in progress after this. But the fact that we get to dive right in and we get to be a part of the Cabal siege of the city and the fall of the tower, and trying to escape and fight back the Cabal with Zavala and Ikora and Cade, I was like, dude, this is awesome. This is as epic a beginning as you could hope for the game. And Brent, like you're talking about with these cinematics, man, there's a ton of cinematics in this opening mission, kind of putting the story together. Like that moment where Cade and Ikora are having like a little kind of lighthearted bantery moment.
Yeah.
But she's looking at this screen and like we've lost the satellites. And Zavala goes, he looks out over the city, and all of a sudden this this cadre of Cabal ships just comes into view, and he knows what's going on at this point. He's like, dude, we're about to get f***ed. So he he throws up his Titan bubble.
Dude, that was that's awesome when he was like, everyone on me now.
Yeah.
Drops that bubble. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, throws the bubble up. Everybody jumps inside. Like you just feel like his there's like a lot of emotional weight to that scene as like the city's falling, the towers falling. Like you can feel Zavala at that point. Like he's just like, man, like everything we've built, everything we've worked for up to this point is all in shambles now as the Red Legion like descends on the city. So do we see this opening mission? I've watched it several times now. It's just epic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go through the fall of the tower, the fall of the city. Amanda Holiday scoops you up. Then you go up and you raid like the Cabal like main ship.
Yeah.
You're gonna like take the fight right to the Dominus Gaul, as he's called, which is an awesome name. I love that his name's Dominus. That's badass. The mission eventually ends. You come. I don't want to say face to face because you don't actually see Gaul, but you hear his voice. You know some like bad stuff's about to happen, and the kind of mission ends there. And Luke, he goes on to tell us like, look, we lost, like we lost this mission. The Cabal they take over the city, and kind of the story of Destiny unfolds from there. So Brent, talk to me about this mission, dude. Talk to me about what you were feeling as you were watching this. Like, this is the part when I really had goosebumps, like watching this mission, watching the way it initially plays out, watching this like just the Cabal like pods are descending on the city and all these dudes are coming out. It's just so epic. Tell me what you're feeling, man.
Well, like you mentioned with Zavala, I have a feeling Zavala is going to be a main focal point of this story. I think he's going to be the heart and soul of the story because, I mean, like we've seen in saw in the trailer, he's been there since the beginning. He's helped build this, the Vanguard and created this, helped build this city, the tower, and everything that he worked hard for all those years has just been wiped out in a matter of one attack. So, he just watched everything he put his heart and soul into get destroyed. Now he's going to try to get everyone back together, raise people back up, and help people get back into the fight. I think Zavala is going to be a key component, and that's what I took away from the trailer early on. I can't wait to see more about how important he is to the story throughout the campaign. But the actual mission itself was just nuts. I mean, like you said, when it opens up with you walking on to the tower. You see these Red Legion pods come crashing down. Cabal are coming out of them. They're attacking everything. The tower's in ruins. You're taking the stage with your crew. You're trying to. Zavala's like, get behind me. We got to hold them off. And you got all these Cabal just surrounding you, and just everything was just insane. It was like the perfect opening for a game. I mean, and it's and when we talk about Destiny, with the exception of like Prison of Elders or the raids like on the hardest difficulty, you're pretty much in control of what's going on. You pretty much know, okay, look, we're gonna get through this mission. It'll be okay. This is like one of the first missions I've seen where it's like, man, we're really losing this. This is not going our way. And it gives you the sense of a worthy adversary, a worthy opponent, somebody that's going to bring the fight to you, and it's not going to be easy. And I think that sets a cool tone. Like, this is like, hey, look, you're going to start from scratch now, and you're going to have to work your way back up to where you were. I think that's awesome. That's the vibe I got from that trailer.
Bender, one of my favorite moments in that opening mission is when they're Zavala's like, what's going on with the speaker? Like, we need to go get the speaker. So you maneuver through the tower, which it's crazy too. A place we've spent so much time in. So to see this place just blown up and in shambles, the sweeper bot shows up too. It was an awesome moment. The crowd really got a kick out of that. And, like this place that we've had Crucible matches in the Bannerfall map, like we see all this stuff in shambles and in darkness as the Cabal Red Legion is raiding. But one of my favorite moments is when you go to look for the speaker and, that whole entire section of the tower is just blown away.
Yeah.
The speaker's not there anymore. And Ikora just comes out and she's pissed. She just totally eviscerates this Cabal Legion with a Nova Bomb. Then there's a ship, and she just goes right after the ship, jumps out, throws a Nova Bomb, nukes the ship. I'm like, this is so awesome. So, dude, talk to me about this opening mission, man. Like, how epic is this thing?
Yeah, it was pretty sweet, and that's actually one of the things I was going to talk about is the fact that in these cutscenes and this opening mission, you get to see the Vanguard leaders actually do stuff instead of, I mean, for all of Destiny, we've just seen them just standing around, and we go up and talk to them. We actually get to see them jump into the action. You guys already talked about, Zavala with his Titan bubble. In the opening cutscene, you see Ikora uses Blink to get Cade out of the way right as some debris falls down. You see Cade activate his golden gun, take a few shots with it, and then as you mentioned, Ikora using that Nova Bomb and jumping up on that Cabal ship was super sweet. You get to see the new supers. I mean, let's talk about that. That was amazing.
Oh yeah.
The Dawn Blade, or I think it's called Dawn Blade.
Yeah.
For the Warlocks, it looks amazing. You just pull out that flaming sword, just start raining fire down on your enemies. Oh man, all three of those new supers look amazing. I want to try all three of those new subclasses. Those look awesome.
Yeah. So we got Dawnblade, which is the Warlock super. You basically spout a pair of like flaming phoenix wings and just ascend to the sky and just start raining fire bombs down on people with your sword, which you can also use to like slam down like for an area of effect. The Titan Sentinel, which is basically turns you into Captain America. Yes, please. You got a shield which you can attack with at close range. You can actually throw it as well. Fun fact too: Captain America often referred to as the Sentinel of Liberty. So shout out to Captain America. And then we've got the Arc Strider for the Hunter class, which basically turns the Hunter into like a Platinum Games character. He just gets a staff and just goes to work with like just beating the hell out of dudes with lightning fast combos and like third person action game type stuff. So yeah, so all three of those subclasses look super badass. Franklin, your thoughts on what we saw from this opening mission, dude?
Again, goosebumps, man. Like watching everything blowing up around you, fighting side by side with the Vanguard, that looks like it's going to be incredible to actually experience. The music, my God, like just listening to that score they have for this game.
That music when the Cabal ships are coming in, and it's about to hit the fan, that was epic.
It is just the music throughout that entire thing, man. It's just freaking amazing. I love it. I mean, even since I've had the Destiny, I pre-ordered, so you have the theme. It plays that new music. It's incredible. It was awesome hearing. There's a part towards the end that starts playing when you take off with Amanda. But one of the cool things that I in here, like we kind of see some of the new weapons we're gonna get to play with. So there's grenade launchers. I don't know, like what else was in there?
I like the assault rifle. That's a minigun. That thing was badass, man.
Yeah,
that's an exotic. That was cool. That's an exotic auto rifle.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a Gatling gun.
Yeah,
everything looks great though. Like the redesign looks nice. The UI is very clean. So I'm excited. I can't wait. Just watching that mission, like I'm amped. Like I said, goosebumps. It's amazing. Just the music alone, though, I really want that soundtrack like right now.
Let's talk a little bit about the story now. So we get a little bit of it from the trailers and from this first mission here, but I really like where they're going with this. So the Cabal Red Legion, led by Dominus Gall, which we've talked about, they dude. How about this too? Luke Smith compared him to Hans Gruber.
That was awesome. I was like, yes, that's awesome.
Yeah,
he's a complex villain. That's not to cut you off, but like it makes him a complex villain. He's not just a simple guy who's pissed off. He is upset, but they give you reason why he's upset, and it's almost like he kind of feel bad for him because they basically say, look, he was raised to be, and taught, look, you're going to work hard and you're going to get the light. The Traveler is going to bestow this upon you. So, just keep working hard and you're going to get this. And at the end of the day, they didn't get the light, and he feels like he got shafted. And when you're raised up from the ground up, from birth, being told, look, this is going to be yours if you work hard for it, you don't know what that's like. I mean, most of us don't know what that's like, and it makes sense. It gives his character some depth. It's not just some shallow villain. I think that's awesome that they went that route.
Yeah, I really like this idea. This idea of Gaul and the Red Legion, how they believe that they should have been chosen for the Traveler's Light, that they should have been bestowed with those abilities that the Guardians were bestowed with, and that he believes in a better class of Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost like Magneto in that way.
Yeah.
Where he always believed in the mutant race, and that they were the better version of humanity, and that they were the ones that should be lofty and placed above them. So Gaul has that kind of complex about him, which I love. Magneto is my favorite villain of all time. So to see a little bit of him inside of him with some Hans Gruber, like, sign me up for this dude, man. This guy sounds awesome. So yeah, so just from that we see just a much deeper motive, a much deeper villain this time around than what we've seen in the past. So really excited about that. We also know that something's going to happen where the Guardians are going to lose their abilities. They're going to lose their light, and this goes for Zavala and Ikora and everybody else. Like, he cages the Traveler, or he's able to do something where the Guardians lose their power, and a lot of this game is going to be designed around your quest to get your powers back, to unite everybody once again, and to take back the last city from the Cabal Red Legion before all is said and done. So I really like where the story is going. Frankie, what do you think about what we've heard about the story so far? You on board with the direction they're going?
Hell yeah. Like he said at the beginning, I feel like this is a new beginning, and kind of going through the process of understanding how Guardians even obtain their powers in the first place. Like, experiencing all that's going to be awesome, and we're literally going to do that from the beginning. Like Luke Smith was saying, when you start, you're broken. Like, literally all you can do is kind of stumble around. So the second you get into this game, you're going to be in bad shape. It's going to be all about kind of like rebuilding yourself back up to being that ultimate badass that we all are used to being from Destiny 1. So I can't wait to go through that again. Like, this time I feel like it's gonna mean more. Like, you're gonna be coming from the very beginning. You're gonna be growing your Guardian into like this mega badass by the time you're done with this, and you go and beat the shit out of Galt. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Bender, do you like where they're going with the story? We also seem like we're gonna learn a lot about. We've talked about this a little bit, but we're gonna learn a lot about Zavala. We're gonna learn a lot about Ikora and Cade, like these characters that we've grown to know from the first Destiny. We're gonna learn a lot more about them in Destiny 2. Ikora, from what I understand, flees into exile basically, and returns to her home world. So we're gonna get to learn a little bit about her history. Zavala ends up on his home planet as well, or where he originated from. So we're gonna get to learn about the backstories of some of these popular characters. What do you think about all this, man? You on board?
Oh yeah, definitely. I really like the way, like you guys were talking about Gaul. I like the way that they kind of describe his motivations, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they explore that. By the way, he has an epic, deep voice. I don't know who does the voice acting for that guy, but it sounds like a cool villain. I just
Dude,
like
me and Brent were talking about that before the show. I wondered if maybe Clancy Brown was lending his pipes to Gaul, but I am not 100% sure on who that is. But yeah, he sounds awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to look into who does that. But yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting, the way, as you were talking about, the Vanguard leaders go to the different planets. Zavala's on Titan. I think Ikora goes to Io, and then Cade goes to Nessus. And I think that's really interesting, because that means, depending on which class you choose, it may mean that you're going to have a different experience, because you're going to have to go to a different place to talk to your Vanguard mentor. So I'm wondering if that's going to cause, indicate some sort of like divergence in the way that they tell the story, depending on the class. That would be very interesting. But either way, it's really cool. I like what they're doing there with the storytelling and the different locations. I'm looking forward to exploring these new planets and the European Dead Zone on Earth and all that stuff. So I think I'm really excited about that stuff.
Yes, you mentioned that, Bender. So we got 4 new areas for Destiny 2. You mentioned Earth and the European Dead Zone, and maybe some other areas on Earth as well. We obviously will know we'll be inside of the last city, doing missions at some point. We've seen some Crucible maps. set in the last city as well. So we're going to be down in the actual city. Obviously, you mentioned Titan. That's a moon of Jupiter.
A moon of
Saturn.
Jupiter, yeah.
A moon of Jupiter.
Io is a moon of Saturn, I believe.
Io is the Saturn moon.
I think Titan's the moon of Jupiter.
Yeah. And then Nessus or Nessus, which is
they called it a planetoid.
Yeah, a planetoid. So this is like a Pluto type of location. That's not necessarily an official planet, but a planetoid of some sort that I believe houses some kind of or one of these areas houses some kind of forgotten civilization. I don't remember which one it was, but the when it all comes down to it, like there's some really interesting storytelling possibilities that are going to be available in this game. So I'm really, really curious to see where they go and how deep they get with some of this stuff, because it seems like there's going to be a lot of side stories that we're really going to learn a lot of stuff about these characters outside of the actual like main narrative, which is about stopping Gaul and the Cabal Red Legion. But I really, really like the stuff that we've heard about the story. I can't wait to see where the narrative of this game goes. Obviously, that was one of Destiny 1's main points of contention was the lack of narrative focus, or even the lack of the narrative making any kind of coherent sense. So the fact that they're putting so much effort into the narrative of Destiny 2, I mean, they've focused on the narrative with a lot of what they've done with Destiny 2 so far, from the teaser trailers to a lot of this presentation. It seems like they want us to know that they've spent a lot of time working on a story for this game, because they know that people had a bone to pick with that the first time around. So totally on board to see where they go from that. Let's talk about some of the other stuff we learned, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on the new weapon system, or from what we know about it so far. So instead of the primary, secondary, heavy weapon system that was utilized in the first Destiny, we're going to move to a new system which does kinetic, energy, and power. Those are the three different classes of weapons we're going to be dealing with. And essentially what they've done is they've taken all of the weapons that were would be associated with like a one-hit kill. So shotguns, sniper rifles, fusion rifles, grenade launchers, rocket launchers. These are all now in the same class of weapon, and they'll be located in your power slot on your Guardian. Your energy and kinetic slots are interchangeable. So you could theoretically run around with 2 scout rifles, 2 hand cannons. You could use a scout rifle and a hand cannon. You could have an auto rifle and a hand cannon with you. But all of the other weapons are in those 2 separate classes, and you get to carry around 2 of those now instead of just 1. So what do you guys think about that, Bender? This for me, this is a big change. This brings a whole new dynamic to the game, because I'm used to grabbing a scout rifle or a hand cannon, putting a fusion rifle or a shotgun in that secondary slot, and then rolling with a rocket launcher or a sword in that heavy slot. So now all of those weapons, the shotguns and the fusion rifles and the rocket launchers, they're all in the same slot now. So it's going to be a very tough decision now to choose, like, man, do I want to bring the fusion rifle for this mission? Do I want to bring the rocket launcher? If swords are still a thing, do I want to bring the sword? Like, you're going to have to buckle down and make a decision on that now. And the ability to for all intents and purposes, carry 2 primary weapons now, and then just have to choose between a secondary and a heavy weapon. That's really going to change up the dynamic of the way this game plays. What do you think about this new system?
It's interesting. We'll have to see how it all plays out, but I don't know. I can't think of a scenario where I would ever choose a fusion rifle over a rocket launcher. Or a grenade launcher or something like that. So kind of, if that's the case, if that's how they're doing it, it makes me wonder if maybe some of those weapons or weapon types are going to kind of be phased out, or they'll have to rebalance them somehow later on down the line. Another thing I heard that kind of disappointed me, and when they were talking about, I heard them talking about the power slot, and they said that since those are like the one-hit kill weapons, as you mentioned, they also mentioned that sticky grenades are going to be reduced in damage, so they're no longer going to be one-hit kills. And that was disappointing to me, because that's my favorite thing to do in PvP is throw sticky grenades at people and then run away. So,
you dirty Crucible player, you've been.
Yeah, it's always fun. No, but but yeah, it's going to be a huge change, and we're also going to have to get used to saying, "Hey, I need to use a power ammo synthesis instead of heavy." It's like, get some power ammo. That's going to be weird to say.
To change our vernacular.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's going to be kind of cool to be able to have like a scout rifle and an auto rifle that you can switch between easily, and so I mean it could be a good thing or could be a bad thing. I guess we'll have to wait and see how it all works.
Yeah, I mean I guess the thing with that bender too is if you're looking at your weapons that are available to you and you want to choose like what to put in that slot. I mean, yeah, you could grab a rocket launcher and shoot 2 or 3 rounds or whatever is included in that, but we don't know how scarce this power ammo is going to be. You might have a fusion rifle which has 8 or 10 rounds in it that you could fire off as opposed to those 2 or 3. So that might be a big difference when you don't have one of those to fall back on. We're so used to we can shoot off our Gallarhorn rockets and then those explode, and then, hey, we still have a shotgun or a fusion rifle in our back pocket to take on some of these big dudes that are bearing down on us. But we don't have that to fall back on now. So that, Frankie, what do you think about this, man? Is this a bigger change than people are giving it credit?
I think so. I think it's going to kind of make communication amongst your teammates a lot more important. You're not going to, obviously, if you're going into a scenario where it's going to be beneficial to have, say, somebody with an icebreaker and maybe 2 people with rocket launchers, like, you're going to want to coordinate more on who has, what for that slot, and go, like, especially it's going to help knowing all the missions and whatnot going in, like, who's going to have what. All that's going to, I feel, going to be a lot more important this time around.
Yeah, definitely. Now the next thing we got to talk about is the way the world's going to work in Destiny. So one of the coolest portions of the presentation is when they started talking about these. I think they called it adventures.
Yes.
But so we're gonna have this big map, and it's gonna have a whole bunch of stuff for us to do now. There's gonna be side missions. There's going to be patrols like we know, but there's going to be treasure hunts, different activities. There's going to be these dungeons called Lost Sectors.
Yes.
Which have special bosses who are holding loot behind them that you can dive down and tackle. So we're gonna have an opportunity to populate our map with all of these different activities and draw ourselves away from the main storyline. Brent, this sounds like a recipe for I don't know, like I may never play another game again.
Well, it sounds like they're trying to make this more of an MMO this time around with these additions. I mean, you've got people that you're going to meet on all these planets that are going to send you on these missions. These are going to be story based, like, side quests. They're going to have meaning to them, and you're going to have to get these treasure maps. You can hunt these things down, find these treasures. The Lost Sectors dungeons, really? Now you can go into these Lost Sectors, and there's bosses you got to battle to get a key to the chest that they're holding. I mean, this sounds awesome. You've got the public events. Now they'll show up on the map when and where they'll be. Don't have to use an app anymore. I mean, there's going to be, it sounds like there's just going to be so much more to do. I mean, we always just despise doing the patrols, but you needed to do it in order to, to get your the bounties done or whatnot. But there's going to be more to do in this world now. Now you're not going to be like, all right, let's just go do a strike. Let's go. There's going to be a more purpose to explore these worlds, to do the patrols, to go around and search things. And I remember when the developers talked about in the trailer, he was like, look, everywhere you go, there's going to be hidden items. There's going to be hidden paths, different things to find, certain things you have to unlock. It's basically, it sounds like it's going to be everything that we wanted the Dreadnought to be. Remember how we started playing the Dreadnought? Like, man, there's all these different paths, there's hidden places. But then when we were done, we were like, man, we wish there was a little bit more. I mean, they had the right idea. It sounds like they're taking that and they're implementing it into all these worlds. And, dude, that is f***ing awesome.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when they were talking about it. I thought the Dreadnought and some of the tropes and design philosophies they started with that environment. I feel like they're bringing that into the entirety of Destiny 2's world right now. And yeah, that does sound f***ing awesome. Franklin, what do you think about what you've heard about this, man? And I mean, good gosh, man. We're sitting here talking about a game like Destiny 2 with more stuff to do, coming off of a game in Destiny that we put 400 hours into. So, yeah. I mean, with more stuff to do, What do you think about what we've heard about the direction they're going with Destiny's open world, for lack of a better term?
I think there are a lot of smart changes. A lot of people wanted more stuff to do. I'm not going to lie. There were a couple times we were doing patrols for quests we had, and I started falling asleep because it's a lot of waiting around for public events that may or may not happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be great actually having a spot on the map knowing, okay, we have 10 minutes to book it across over here. And the other cool thing is they're talking about you no longer need to go to orbit to go anywhere.
Yes.
So I don't know how this would work for the same planet, but I can think of several times where we're doing patrols somewhere and there's going to be a public event, but it's actually quicker to go to orbit to then go back and then go there straight from that. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do something like traverse the world a lot faster instead of having to do that step, but that's awesome. But the thing I'm actually really excited about are these the adventures, like sending you out in these little actually like story bits, like learning more about like where you're at, like, and the people who inhabit this planet. Like I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And not only like are you kind of getting to learn more about the Vanguard people, but you're learning more about what you're doing as well, and you're not having to, in theory, read it through Grimoire cards. So
yeah, definitely. Bender, your thoughts on this idea of adventures, these side quests, these lost sectors? Like, does this stuff sound awesome to you?
Yes, it does. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. It's going to lend to a lot more. I mean, options as far as if you're wanting to play solo or if you're wanting to team up with people, you're still going to have stuff that you can do. You don't because there's so many times where I play Destiny, I'm like, well, all I can really do is strikes. There's no point in doing patrols after a certain point. It's like all I can do is strikes right now, and I don't have anyone to play with, so I'm just not gonna play. So, but now I'm gonna if there's no one else around to play, I mean, I can go just explore the world and try to find some of these lost sectors and try to take out the boss or go to a public event. Another thing about the public events that I don't remember the exact phrasing, but I think they said that these will now have like legendary objectives or something like that.
Heroic objectives.
Oh, yeah, heroic objectives.
Heroic objectives. Yeah. So, instead of just doing the public event, there's going to be extra things or extra objectives or something special that you can do in addition to that to kind of make it even more interesting. I think that's awesome. And, to be able to meet and encounter characters in the world who are going to, talk to you and send you on quests or team up with you or whatever they're going to do, that's going to be really cool too, and learn more about the lore in the game by that means as well. So yeah, all of this stuff sounds really exciting to me, and to be able to have a map and as Frankie mentioned, to not have to go to orbit to go to another planet. You can just pull up your director right there, just click on a planet and just go, and you're going to be in your ship heading that way. That's awesome. That's going to be a huge time saver, and it's going to eliminate a lot of the annoyances that came with switching between different missions and stuff.
I like Luke's comment. It was like, we want to remove as many barriers as possible from your gun and the enemy's faces.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, Luke Smith is awesome, man. I love that guy. He's a funny dude. He loves Destiny too. The guy's awesome. So yeah, so we're totally on board with some of the stuff that they're going through with that. The other cool thing they're doing is they're taking the clan system and they're implementing it into the game. So now we won't have to go through the app to do any of this clan stuff. It's all going to be implemented into the game. And how about this? In-game rosters and customizable banners. We can have our own custom short pause banner for our Destiny 2 clan, and I think that's awesome. Like, we got to get started on designing that like right away. And like you guys are mentioning, one of the other big things that Luke talked about and they talked about throughout the presentation, one of their pillars is letting people play the game like the way they want to play the game. They want to make this a game that if you're a solo player, like, you can still enjoy this as a solo player. So they're introducing this system they're calling guided games, which will allow you to join up with clans in game, even if you're not a part of that clan. So if you want to get involved with raids and you want to get involved with nightfalls, you don't have people that are at your disposal at any given time. This is kind of like their solution to matchmaking for these items. You'll be able to scroll through a list of clans, and there'll be a description of them, so you can figure out like what type of a clan they are, and if it's something that you're a good fit for you, that you might mesh with. So if you pull up a clan and they're like, we're hardcore Destiny fans, do not come and join us if you haven't played the raid 400 times. Like that might be something that you shy away from. But if you pull up some guy like, look, we're just a bunch of casual Destiny players, we love this game, we love to meet new players, jump in here and join with us. Like that's somebody whose description you might read as a solo player, as a new player, and you might want to try and hop in with these guys and tackle the raid. So I think that sounds like a pretty cool system. I love that they're implementing all of this inside of the game now. So I think that'll be a huge boon for this game. Brent, we got to start designing our short pause banner, dude. Let's get going on this.
I'm not much of a drawer, but I'm open to suggestions.
Do you guys like what they're doing with the clan system and implementing it into the game? Do you like this idea of guided games? Does that sound like a kind of worthy solution to the matchmaking problems that the first Destiny game had? And I've talked about this many times, but I was on board with the way that they did matchmaking in Destiny 1. I would not want to go through a raid with 5 people that I wasn't comfortable with or had no idea about. Like I felt like to fully experience Destiny 1 the way it was meant to be experienced, you had to go in there, like we had to go in there as short pause or with the guys that we played with all the time. Mm-hmm. So Brent, do you feel like this guided games is a happy medium between typical just blind matchmaking and trying to find like a group of people that you would mesh with? Does this sound like a good solution to you? What do you think about that? What do you think about clans being in the game now? Does this all sound like stuff that's a good idea?
Absolutely. I mean, the clans being in-game now is great. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, just about every game has clan support built in, so it's about time Destiny does the same. I like the fact that you can earn rewards as a clan. As you keep playing, you complete missions, complete strikes, the raids, nightfalls, whatever it is. Everything that you do will go towards your clan's like progression, and you'll earn rewards as a group. And we don't really know what those rewards will be, but I'm sure they'll be worthwhile. So that'll be cool. You can kind of establish your clan as legit as you rank up the ranks and progress forward. So I think that's really cool that they got everything built into the game. You don't have to use an app anymore, so everyone's right there. You can find everybody, your clan roster, and everything. The guided game things I think is awesome because, like you said, it's nice to be able. It's the best way to play a raid is with friends. But at the same time, if you're a new person or if you don't have a lot of friends online, this gives you the ability to search through the clans to find out which clan is most tailored to your personality, what you're like. Are you looking for a chill experience? You can find that, and I think by doing that, you give people the ability to find groups that they're more familiar with or more comparable to. You won't have the disconnects that everyone's worried about. That if you jump into a raid and just straight matchmaking and you got 2 people who are just complete jerks, everyone's going to quit. But I mean, at least this way, when you see the clan description, everyone writes on, hey, look, here's what we're looking for. Like you said, experienced players, not playing too hardcore, not trying to go speed run through. You get specific, you have a less likely chance that someone's going to jump in and be like, oh, man, these guys aren't who I thought they were. I don't want to be a part of this, and quit. This is, like you said, it's a good balance. It'll give people more of a chance to experience the raids. It'll get more people into the raids, and I think that's a really, really good move. I think it's really cool how they're going about doing this.
Frankie, what do you think about this, man? What do you think about guided games? Is this the kind of happy medium between LFG and like typical matchmaking?
You would hope so, but I think of our experiences with LFG people, the times that we've had to, try to bring people in for raids. I remember specifically, I don't know which raid it was. It was one of it was either one from the Taken King or Rise of Iron. But the first time we go into the raid, we try to go in blind, so we try to bring in people who have also not experienced the raid with us, and it had to be the one from Rise of Iron because I remember Brent was mad because one of the guys that came in, like you post specifically, like we want people who have not done the raid at all. So it doesn't matter. Even like this is my concern is even if on there, like, Short Pause Guardians, like, and we post something like we're doing the raid, we're going in blind. We don't want anyone having any experience joining us for the raid. If you fit that description, then join us. But you're still going to have people who just don't care. Like, oh yeah, I'll go in and, oh hey guys, how about we do this? I don't know if it'll work, and they've obviously done it before. So I mean, granted, like this is probably just like an isolated thing to maybe just the way that we want to play the game, but I just think of things like that and just the random people that we have stumbled across who are maybe not great to play Destiny or anything with.
Mm-hmm.
So like even still, like adding that element of, you know, bringing in somebody that you're not familiar with at all, like there's still that heavy chance that it ain't gonna pan out.
I think that's something Bungie could easily fix on their end, honestly, in terms of like whether or not somebody's played the raid or not. I mean, obviously you can look at somebody's profile in game, you can see their stats, you can see what they've done. I don't think it'd be too much to ask out of Bungie to actually put that in their statistics. Like, look, here's what raids they've done and how many times they've done it. I mean, simple as that. You know, if you see a 0, okay, cool, this guy hasn't done it. But if it has a 1, sorry, dude, we're not looking for you. This isn't what you're looking for. I think that's something they could implement.
Yeah, but the other problem is, like, even if you're doing that, it's still, like, you have the people who've done this portion of the raid but are joining you because they want to try to get past that point. Like, you're still running into that possibility of having somebody come in.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I guess that's what I meant. I guess, like, actually show if they've started a raid, if they've done the raid, or if they've gone into it.
Oh, you mean like kind of implement that app thing that like kind of shows the...
Like on a data level.
Yeah.
They can go in and say, has this person played 1 second of the raid?
Right.
Yes or no?
Yep.
And if they haven't, then, you know...
Because I think that's something that a lot of people want. It's not just us. I think there's a lot of people that want to have people in their raid party that haven't done the raid yet. That's the best part of a raid, is trying to figure out how to play through it. I think it'd be a very simple statistic. You could just put an X or an O. You know, have they jumped into this raid and played it? Yes or no? And
you know what would be really cool is in the Destiny app, there's, for every player, it has your playtime, but it splits apart what you've spent the most. Like, it'll show like what you've done. Like, oh, you've been patrolling for 48 hours. You've been raiding for 120 hours. Like, you've done strikes. Like, it breaks down everything in that app. And I think being able to put that in the game, that would probably help with that problem.
Absolutely.
Bender, what are your thoughts on this system, man? You know, Frankie brings up the point that this may not be a perfect solution, and I don't know that there is a perfect solution to this problem. There's always gonna, like Frankie mentioned, be some knuckleheads out there. They're gonna try and circumvent the system. But you know, what do you think about this, Eddie? You know, for every group that we hooked up with for Wrath of the Machine, there's like the dudes that we hooked up with for King's Fall and completed the Moments of Triumph, and like found these awesome guys and made it through that thing with. But so what do you think about guided games?
Well, the guys make some good points. I mean, there's no perfect solution. It is better to have a group of 6 that you know and gel with, but that's interesting. You should bring that up, Ben, because that's what I was going to talk about. Is when I think about the benefits of guided games, I think about our year 2 Moments of Triumph when we were trying to scrounge together a group to take down Oryx on hard mode, and we had the hardest time trying to find people who would stick around. If we had guided games at that point, I mean, we could have, you know, sent out a call for, you know, whoever wants to join. We're looking for 2 more or whatever, and then they could jump in. If those 2 left, then okay, well they'll try to find more people for us. I think that would have been very helpful. We wouldn't have had to stay up so late that night to find people who would want to stick around.
4 a.m.
Exactly. Yeah. Although that was the most epic moments that we've had in Destiny, for at least for me personally, I think it would have this system would have made it a little bit easier on us at that point. So it's not a perfect solution, and Frankie's right. There are going to be some douchebags who want to lie and pretend like they have never played the raid, even though they have, like that one guy. But I mean, I think it's better than nothing, for sure.
Yeah, we man, that year 2 Moments of Triumph, dude. Yeah, little did we know that hard mode was going to be in real life as well. So it was meta as we tried to assemble a squad to go through that thing, man. Man, it's one of the reasons I love Destiny, though, man. Is for moments like that. It's the only game that can provide those kind of moments, like beating the Moments of Triumph and like beating Skolas and all that kind of stuff.
With a random LFG group on the first try.
Yeah, on the first try at 4 a.m. in the morning with an hour to go before we can't complete the challenge any further. It was pretty wild. Yeah, so that's a lot of like the newer stuff that we know about the game at this point. Let's talk a little bit about the Crucible now. So they're taking the Crucible and they're boiling it all down to just 4v4 matches for all of their modes, except obviously the trials. Those will still be 3-on-3 matches. But the entire Crucible getting an overhaul, 4v4 modes. We saw one of the new modes, Countdown, which is an attack and defend mode, dealing with arming and disarming bombs that are placed around the map. That looks pretty fun. So Brent, man, what do you think about this idea of boiling down all the matches to 4v4, making a more like strategic, intimate experience? I mean, there's 4 of us in Short Pause. We could now roll in with a full squad of 4 and really kind of strategically move our way through some of these modes and matches. And I don't know, I'm kind of on board for this, man. I think it sounds really fun. It's going to add a whole new dimension to the Crucible. What are your thoughts on what they're doing with the Crucible?
My first thought is your definition of strategically moving through and completing objectives is different than mine of us just getting our asses kicked.
Yeah, man.
Going to PvP, I'm not sure we would do too much strategery other than going, where did that shot come from? But no, it sounds really cool. Like I said, I was never really big into the PvP portion of Destiny. Not to say it's not good. It's just there's a lot of good players out there. And you jump into some of those matches and you get beat up. And it's fun. But for me, Destiny will always be the PvE mode and the story mode and whatnot. That's what I get the most out of Destiny. But it does sound really cool. I love anytime you scale things down to smaller teams. You know, like you said, for more intimate battles, I think it's more intense. I mean, look at Rainbow Six Siege. That's 5v5, and that's as intense as it gets. And you take something like Destiny, where everyone's very dangerous with all these supers and these different types of weapons in a smaller, confined area and with smaller teams. It could lead to some really intense matches and requires a lot more strategy than just run around. You got to really coordinate with your friends, with your teammates, and that's always fun in multiplayer.
Yeah. I'm on board with the more intimate setting. I'm not the best Crucible player out there.
We know.
You too. But yeah, I actually really started to enjoy the Crucible as Destiny went on, and specifically like the Iron Banner. Mm-hmm. That had shed a lot of fun with the Iron Banner, hopping in there, and everybody gets to use their gear that they've earned, and they're at their actual level that they've worked hard to obtain. So I can't wait to see what they do with Iron Banner here. But we've got the 4v4 matches, and then Frankie, some of the other stuff they're doing is they're changing some stuff with the HUD. So they're now going to display like when people's super is ready, whether or not they've picked up power ammo, which is going to be around the map. And another interesting mechanic is now when you go and get this new power ammo, which was formerly heavy ammo, only one person can pick up the ammo. Ooh. So when you unlock the crate, it's only going to go to the person that unlocks it. No longer will you be able to have your team huddled around a heavy ammo crate or a power ammo crate, and all of that will disperse between the team. It's only going to go to the person that opens the chest. So that is going to change strategy as well when it comes to the Crucible. Obviously, there's going to be tons of new maps and modes. We talked about the countdown mode. Frankie, what do you think about what you've seen from the Crucible?
I'm actually happy about it. At first, I was kind of concerned because I think of all the times I've played, in the Crucible, and I love Control.
Yeah,
I absolutely fell in love with that mode when I started actually playing it and getting better at it. The more I played of it, and thinking about shrinking that game down to a 4v4 environment, like at first, as kind of like, I don't know how that's going to work very well. But the more I think about it, like, if these maps are designed for 4-on-4, I can't tell you how many times like we're doing Iron Banner, like Bender and I would be running around and we'd go a couple minutes without encountering a single person as we're like trying to make our way around to capture recapture points. Like there was a lot of downtime that was going on between that because most like a lot of the team was over there like fighting over point A, and Bender and I would be capturing point C uncontested. So I think shrinking the maps down and making it like a more intimate team sizes, I think that's actually going to make that mode a lot more intense. Especially if you're strategically trying to plan out like, okay, well, there's 3 points, there's 4 of us, 2 of us are going to head over here, and just trying to like actually strategically figure out ways to play game modes like that, I think is going to be really interesting to actually experience and do. That crate thing kind of sucks. Like, you just imagine playing the game with some random person who ends up getting that, and like it's the worst player on your team, and like they get a rocket launcher and then immediately blow themselves up.
Yeah, that's why I'm probably never going to go for heavy ammo again. Because I wouldn't always blow myself up, but I would immediately die every time I get heavy ammo in Crucible. So
yeah,
I'm
same.
not even going to bother anymore.
Yeah, every single time I would finally get a rocket, and then all of a sudden someone else's rocket blows me up. So yeah, I know that feeling.
It sounds like those power ammo crates will act differently though than a typical heavy ammo crate. So it sounds like there will be more of them around the map. They'll probably be on a much shorter timer, so there will be more opportunities to get power ammo, and that's actually a strategy you could employ. Like if you want to be the guy that goes around the map and hoards the power ammo and tries to just nuke the other team, like that's a strategy you could try to employ. And see how it works for you. Bender, what are your thoughts on the Crucible, man?
Well, I'm like Brent was saying, I'm not a huge PvP guy, but I would like to try, if there are any new modes that they introduce, besides just the countdown mode. It'll be interesting. I'll definitely try it out. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of quest that require Crucible or PvP steps, like there always is. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure I'll have an opportunity to check that out. I don't know how I feel about the smaller team sizes. I didn't have any issues with the 6-on-6 modes. I guess, like Frankie was saying, I guess if they kind of make the maps a little bit smaller, then maybe it'll work a little bit better with 4-on-4. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's definitely gonna change the Crucible. It's gonna change the strategy involved, and it's gonna be like a whole new experience jumping in there with the 4v4 maps. One of the other things they showed in this video on Game Informer, they were showing some of the stuff about the Crucible, and one of the they have these new abilities that actually span the subclasses. So for like warlocks, for instance, you have this kind of this safe zone you can drop somewhere in a map, and this goes for PvE as well. But you have this zone you can drop down, and it's either like a healing area or like a damage buff, like whatever it ends up being. And in this Crucible video I was watching, they showed the Titan's ability, which is to create like this energy wall that they can hide behind. It's almost like a kind of like a mini bubble, so to speak. It puts a little barrier around you that you can use. Looks like something you might find in Overwatch. Some of those characters have like that energy barrier that they create in front of them. So I think it's cool that these subclasses have these abilities that are going to span the class, no matter which one you end up choosing. So whether you're the Dawnblade or the Stormcaller, whatever you are, you're always going to have the ability as a warlock to drop that area that you can use. So I'm interested to see more of that as well. A couple other notes on the multiplayer stuff here. The trials will be probably out like launch week for Destiny 2. So I would anticipate that would be an activity that would be available the first weekend that the game's out. They just wanted to let you know and assuage any fears that the trials will be active long before the Osiris DLC makes its way out. So that will be a thing in or around launch. And Destiny 2 won't use dedicated servers for the multiplayer on PC or console. So that is the multiplayer portion of the game. Now, a couple other nuggets here we need to discuss. The PS4 Pro version of Destiny 2 will run at 4K, locked at 30 frames a second. Okay, so this has been confirmed. So obviously Destiny's always been a 30 frames game as far as what we've known throughout the entirety of Destiny 1, and I've said this before, but this is probably the best damn 30 frames game you're ever gonna play. It's technically rock solid. At no point ever when I was playing Destiny 1 was I like, man, I wish the frame rate was different, or I wish this was 60 frames. It was always such a smooth game. It always played so well. I never even thought about the frame rate on that game. But with the advent of the PC version, there are some things that are gonna come to this game that we're not used to. So one of those is an uncapped frame rate. and the early reports out of the Destiny event are that this thing was running at 60 frames. And it was running buttery smooth in 4K, which obviously the PC version will support. Full mouse and keyboard support with custom key mapping, text chat via the battle.net, and that's the other thing too. This game only available on Blizzard's battle.net service. This will not be available on Steam. So this is a huge deal for PC gamers. This is, one of these things that you're only going to be able to get on Battle.net. You have adjustable fields of view. You have, of course, all the detailed settings that come with PC games. You have 21:9 monitor support, so you've got those like super widescreen monitors. Yeah. Destiny 2 will support those out of the box as well. So it sounds like they're putting a nice package together for PC players. Brent, your thoughts on the PC version of the game and how this compares to the console version? What does this mean all moving forward?
The console version, I'm not bothered by it. I mean, like you said, we had a lot of fun with Destiny 1, and never once was the frame rate ever a point of contention or a reason that we were like, man, I wish this ran smoother. I mean, it's one of the best 30 FPS shooters I've ever played. So I don't have any issues with that. I mean, it was explained, and the thing I liked about Luke Smith is that he kind of just shot this down right away and explained why as well. This is what he had to say. He goes, he said this will not run at 60 frames on the Pro. I don't want people to continue to hope. We're going to be very matter of fact about this. The PS4 Pro is super powerful, but it couldn't run our game at 60 frames. Our game is this rich physics simulation with collision and players, networking, etc. It wouldn't run. Not enough horsepower there yet. So, I mean, it's just there's a lot going on in this game. A lot of this is bound to the CPU. And it's just if they tried, jacking up the GPU and going for the 60 frames, this game's just not going to run smooth with what they are trying to do in terms of creating the graphical presentation and how the game looks and whatnot. So I'm not too worried about the console version. I mean, I think Destiny 1 was great on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It's a solid 30 frames. Now the PC version, I will have this on PC simply because of all the talk we heard from this event. People talking about this game running an uncapped, a smooth 60 frames. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Destiny's a fine-looking game at 30 frames, but if I can see it at 60 frames, yeah, I'm going to do that. So I will pick this up on PC. I do want to see how this baby runs at 60 frames. I'm sure it's beautiful, but I'm not going to be like, go back to the PS4 and be like, man, this isn't any good. I can't play this. I mean, it's a great game at 30 frames. I don't expect this to be an issue at all.
Which is exactly why I'm not even going to look at the PC version because I'm not going to play it. I'm never going to play it on PC, so I don't even want to look at that. I don't even want to know what it could be. All right, I'm just gonna ignore that, and I'm just gonna play the Destiny I've come to know and love on consoles. Frankie, what do you think, man? You gonna build a badass PC and fire up Destiny 2 on PC now?
Nope.
Sweet. Bender, you're a huge PC builder. I can see you putting together a sweet rig for this game.
No. I'm gonna be playing on PS4.
Are you guys
probably Xbox One as well?
Yeah, they are not talking about the Scorpio version as well. Just so that's clear. But we were talking about this before the show. I would anticipate it would be the same thing for the Scorpio as well. I don't see how they could do a different frame rate on the Scorpio than they would on the Xbox One when the game has to play across all of these same systems. So
yeah, because I mean that's the biggest thing we've always talked about when you have these games that are cross-platform and whatnot. Like how can you have, it be 30 frames on the Xbox One S and 60 frames on the Xbox Scorpio? It just can't. You can't have that. That's a disadvantage. That's a big disadvantage. 60 frames is really, really quick. It's smoother, and I just feel like that puts them at a huge advantage, and you can't have that. So that's why I fully expect the Scorpio version to be 30 frames as well.
Yeah, I mean, it would just go in the face of what they've been talking about Microsoft for the last year and a half. In terms of the Scorpio just being another member of the Xbox One family, and all the games need to play across consoles there. And for a multiplayer game, you just can't have differences like that. It just changes things. So, other note on platforms: no plans for Destiny 2 on Nintendo Switch. Quote: I think it's pretty unrealistic. End quote. So
okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it, there will be no Destiny 2 on Nintendo Switch. Is anybody on this podcast surprised at that?
Not
Cool.
surprised, but it would have been nice in some way if they could have got it on there. But it is what it is.
What was one of the big rumors?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was the
Nintendo has
rumor.
marketing.
Yeah, there was a rumor about Destiny 1 getting ported to Nintendo Switch, and then Destiny 2 being on there. It was all horse shit, of course. So, yeah, no Destiny 2 on the Switch, unfortunately. Now, what I want to ask you guys about is there anything that you didn't like about this presentation? Is there anything about Destiny 2 that concerns you? Anything that threw up a red flag? Brent, let me start with you. Anything that sent your radar off with this reveal, man?
You know, when I was really excited watching the reveal, and I do remember one thing, and I actually seen a couple people mention it on Twitter, and you know, they were talking about what's going to be in this game, and they were like, you know, we've got a new strike, and I was like, are they bringing the other strikes into this one? I mean, when they said, because I mean, the guy up on stage said we have a new strike. Now I don't know if he meant we have a new strike at this event, but he said we have a new strike. There's got to be more than one strike, obviously, at launch. So, I mean, are they bringing the old ones into this one, or what? How do you interpret that? I guess that's just one thing I did notice when I heard that, and I seen other people talking about it. I was like, yeah, that did make sense. I do remember he said we had a new strike.
So I actually had just watched some of the presentation I missed before we started recording, but earlier in the show, like Luke is talking about new strikes.
Oh, he says, okay,
you know.
new strikes. Okay, that's my point.
Yeah, there was the one they had at the event that what's it called? Something Spire.
The inverted spire.
Yeah, like that's the one they were talking up because that's the one that they had playable.
Okay, so when he said we
the
have
event.
a new strike, that means that's what they had at the place.
That's
okay,
which
good.
Which, by the way, the inverted spire sounds awesome.
Yeah,
it looks awesome.
It sounds like a mini raid is the way they described it. There's jumping sections, there's platforming sections, there's a 3-tiered boss at the end that you have to go through. That sounds pretty epic. So yeah, I can't wait to play that one. Franklin, anything that concerned you about this reveal?
One thing that stands out to me that really bummed me out was it's still 3-person fire teams. I was really, really hoping that coming into this one that they would grow the fire team limit to at least 4, which would make sense. You know, you have 4 people in the Crucible. Why not 4 people for everything else? So that bummed me out because, you know, there are 4 of us. So it sucks because there is usually going to be like that odd person out, which sucks, but...
Gotcha.
Oh, shut up. It's usually me, which is my fault. Because
stop.
I work until midnight, so I'm hard to like scuttle around. It's my fault. It is true.
It is your fault. Bender, any concerns with this reveal?
Probably same as Frankie. I mean, I was kind of hoping there would be 4-person fire teams. I was kind of even more hoping that they would come up with if they did 4-person fire teams, I was thinking they would probably have to do another class, a 4th class. I'm glad that they're introducing some new subclasses, but I was also wondering if they were going to do some different types of subclasses instead of just Arc, Solar, and Void, like always. One thing I noticed, I don't know if this is the Titan barrier that you were talking about earlier, but one thing I saw in one of the little like quick things that they showed a Titan with like a bubble around him, but it looked like ice to me. That was kind of like, are they going to do an ice subclass? Or
It'd be sweet if they did.
I mean, that'd be really interesting. It'd be even more interesting if they had a special subclass that was exclusive to only each 3 class. You know what I mean? Like if, let's say Titans have ice, and then Warlocks have something else, and then Hunters have something else, and you can only play that subclass if you play as that class.
Like an exclusive element or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. That'd be really interesting. I don't think they'll do that because they probably would throw off the balance, but it'd be cool. No other really concerns. Just one more thing I wanted to throw in here because I forgot to say earlier in regards to clans is that they did confirm that You do not have to recreate your clan. So if you already have a clan, it's gonna be there for Destiny 2, and you're gonna be able to access it. So we will not have to recreate the Short Pause Guardians.
Nice.
We will have to recruit everyone again.
Yes,
for the short,
yes,
all the Short Pause Guardians.
All the fair weather friends who left us.
Well, in their defense, we stopped playing for like 4 months. So
okay, whatever. Still.
Yeah, I believe the Short Pause Guardians are the 4 people you're watching on this podcast right now.
Yeah,
and like 4 of the people that just stopped playing the game as well, or they just traded in their systems and grew up. I don't know.
Yeah. For me personally, it sounds like there's only going to be one raid available with Destiny 2 when it arrives. Mm-hmm. So only one new raid out of the gate. Would have liked to have seen 2 or 3 in there, if possible. I mean, I know these are massive undertakings.
Destiny 1 only launched with 1. It didn't even launch with 1. It was the Vault of Glass came out several weeks later, right?
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. Bender, this is my disappointing segment. All right.
Okay.
All right? So, that doesn't change the fact that for Destiny 2, I would have liked to have seen a few more raids in there. Like I said, I understand these are big undertakings. They're hours and hours of gameplay. They're the best part, and that's the thing. They're the best part of Destiny. So I would have liked to seen a few more of them here from the get-go. But I understand why there's not, and we also don't know what the update schedule is going to be like for the future. So we don't know when these expansion packs are coming out. We don't know if raids are going to be a part of those, or if those might just be something that we constantly see updated into the game. We don't know how Destiny is going to get updated in the future, and really there's still a lot of stuff we don't know about the game. So this was a lengthy reveal. It was an hour-long presentation. Like I said, they showed a lot more stuff than I thought that they were going to show. But there's also stuff that we don't know for the future. You know, we don't know if there's going to be any additional subclasses. We don't know if there's going to be any new alien races. We don't know, how the expansions and the schedule for add-ons and changing the game, like how this is all going to work with the people that are working on this game. So there's still a lot of stuff we don't know. But something else we need to talk about is some of the stuff we've heard about this game. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. And I want to go to you, Frankie, on this one first. But some of these people are disappointed that Destiny 2 wasn't more different, quote unquote, from Destiny 1. So, and I get some of that. We saw some of the same alien races, same subclasses. In some cases, some of the same moves. We saw the gunslinger out there with the golden gun, which was a Destiny 1 staple. So I get all that, but I feel like the HUD or the UI is very similar to what we saw in the first Destiny. But the thing is, the first Destiny did that stuff so well. The UI in Destiny is the best UI I've ever played in a video game. It's incredible. It's clean. It's easy to follow. Like, why would you change that when you did it so right the first time? Just to change it. The gunplay in Destiny is incredible. It's the best shooter I've ever played on a console, bar none. It's not even close. So why would you want to change that or change the way the game feels when that's its bread and butter? So I just think like what we're seeing in this game we've got this all new storyline, which is what we wanted them to focus on. So if you're telling me they're going to take Destiny 1 and all the stuff that it did great there, and they're going to give us this awesome narrative, and they're going to give us this big world with all this extra stuff to do, they're going to give us brand new loot to play with, all new characters, they're just going to take new raids, new strikes, like everything we loved with the first Destiny, and just take it up to the next notch. And give us even more stuff to do. Like, that sounds like a recipe to me for a great sequel. So let me get your thoughts on that. Let me get your thoughts on what some of the people are saying about this looking too much like Destiny 1. But it's a sequel. It's a sequel to a game. I don't know what you wanted this game to look like. Talk to me, Frankie.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I'd still maintain that even though it's only 30 frames, Destiny is still one of the best playing first-person shooters on consoles right now. Hands down, like it feels the best to play. It's just so satisfying watching Taken heads explode when you shoot them in the face. It's great. So, or the Fallen rather. So, I love that game. But yeah, I mean, every single thing that we complained about in Destiny 1, I feel like they addressed, and we're getting that. We wanted a cinematic story. We're getting a cinematic story. We wanted more planets and worlds to explore. We're getting 3 new worlds to explore, and the biggest area we've built to date on Earth. So we're going to be, obviously exploring the European Dead Zone, which apparently is massive. So I heard every single thing that I wanted to hear from a proper Destiny sequel. Like, yes, I understand, like, there's only one raid that's going to be at launch, but at the same time, we're going to get a chance to kind of go back. We have all these new strikes we're going to be playing, all this new loot to be chasing. There's all kinds of other stuff, and exploring, learning about all these, lost sectors, and going on adventures, and checking out the new patrols and the new public events. Like, there is literally a crap ton of brand new stuff for you to do when you hop into Destiny 2. You're not going to run into that problem with Destiny 1 where you hop in and you're like, all right, well, I finished the story, now what? I assume we're going to have a pretty healthy amount of strikes and content to go with that thing out of the gate. So I don't understand it because, like you say, like there are so many people out there who I saw literally saying, oh, well, this feels like Destiny 1.5. What I don't understand what that even means. Like, what exactly does that mean? Yeah, look at something like, The Taken King as Destiny 1.5. Something that went in, drastically changed everything in that game. Like, they took Destiny at its core and improved everything that they could in the Taken King expansion. And, that philosophy is obviously carried forward into the Rise of Iron. Destiny 2 is just here for completely brand new areas for you to explore, do all these events on, a cinematic story, reworked Crucible, reimagined weapon balancing, and the way that choosing weapons, all that stuff. Like, you want to have multiple primary weapons, go for it. You have you don't have to have the exotic primary fusion rifle. If you want to roll 2 fusion rifles, roll 2 fusion rifles. Hey, we ain't stopping you anymore. I feel like every single complaint for the most part that anyone had the first Destiny game, they spearheaded with Destiny 2, and it seems like they're going to have this game right coming straight out of the gate, and I don't understand how anyone could be upset about that. I really don't.
Bender, let me bring you in here. I mean, what do you think, man? Is this a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Frankie nailed it. I don't know what people were thinking or were expecting out of this game. I mean, it's not going to be some sort of revolutionary, like, life-changing thing that's going to be vastly different from the original. I mean, Destiny did so many things right. They're not going to change too much. I mean, if it's already a successful game, if people already love it, and like Frankie was saying, they changed the things that needed to be changed, and the things that needed to be left the same, they're going to leave the same. So, I'm happy with it. I think I'm really looking forward to it. I'm happy with the changes that they showed us, and I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, Brent. Now, I tell you what, man. If I watched this reveal and this thing didn't look like Destiny 1, then I'd be a little bit concerned. I mean, by the time all was said and done, man, when we finished the Taken King and we got through Rise of Iron, this was an elite video game. Like, Destiny 1 was by the time you got to the end, it had all the content. Like, if you go out and buy Destiny the collection right now, you're getting a hell of a video game right now for the $40 or whatever it costs. And I just feel like if they take that feel. If Destiny 2 feels like Destiny 1, which was the thing that game did so great, if it maintains that feel and does all this stuff we're talking about, like expanding this world and giving us all this cool stuff to do, giving us all this brand new loot, giving us the epic storyline we crave, that this world that they've created deserves, which is an awesome sci-fi universe. I mean, isn't that what we want out of this sequel?
Look, Bender and Frankie nailed it. Everybody wanted a better story. We're getting it. Everybody wanted more of an MMO feel in the world to explore stuff. We're getting it. Nobody asked for better gameplay or different gameplay or to change the gameplay up. This game plays great. Nobody wants them to change how Destiny plays. It's just a great playing game. And if you look at the Call of Duties, look what happened with Call of Duty. Modern Warfare series, boots on the ground. Nobody asked for wall running. Nobody asked for boost jumping. They put it in the game, and what happened? Everyone bitched about it. Okay? So don't change the formula. Stick to what works. Everybody loves the way Destiny plays. And if people were wanting them to change stuff, you're opening up a can of worms, and it's just going to get worse and worse. Bungie, you're doing it right. Add the stuff that people want. Leave the other stuff alone. Your fans are going to love this stuff.
And like I said, man, this is only the initial reveal. There's still going to be a lot more stuff that we don't know about this game that we haven't seen yet. So there could be new subclasses. There could be new alien races. We don't know. They're not going to tell us that stuff in the initial reveal. You know, maybe they unveil some of the stuff at E3 if it's a thing. I don't know. So, you know, we'll see where things go from here. But let's wrap this thing up. So, Bender, your final thoughts on this Destiny 2 reveal, man. Give me your parting words here. You excited about this?
Yes, get hype. That's all I have to say. I'm super excited. I cannot wait to play this game. I've already requested the day off. I think I'm gonna pre-order it digitally so I can jump in at midnight. And yeah, I'm just gonna be playing it all weekend long.
Yeah, productivity in the Short Pause offices after September 8th. Coming to a screeching halt. Franklin, your parting words on the Destiny 2 reveal.
Like Bender, super excited, super hyped. I've been trying to kind of not get as hyped about it as I am, just because I'm really worried about. Look, I've made great progress this year. I've played through games I never thought I would actually sit down and play through because I got so addicted to the first Destiny. This one's like they're gonna pull me back in. I have one more thing I just thought of that is, I don't know if it's a little tiny hint of what's actually happening here. Who did you notice missing from the tower when everything was going to hell?
Eris.
Eris.
Oh, Eris. Yeah.
You remember there was a story plot with her and some cryptic thing. Where the hell is she?
Oh,
Yeah.
Eris, you dirty dog.
Yeah, and we saw them talk about, obviously the Cabal are the main villain. We saw the Vex. They're at the center of that
Nessus
strike.
Nessus.
Yeah, they're at the center of that strike. So we don't know what's going on with the Fallen or the Hive. They were conspicuous by their absence. The Fallen showed up in the Zavala trailer, but the Hive no appearance at all during that presentation. Yeah, and Eris' storyline, just one of the dangling threads from the first Destiny that we're all curious about for the future. So we'll see if they pick that up with Destiny 2. For myself personally, I just I can't wait for this game. I mean, I'm super hyped for it. I'm just gonna let myself get hyped. I don't care. I put this game at the top of my most anticipated games for this year list. I'm excited that it's actually going to come out this year, that we're actually going to get to play it. And seriously, dude, after September 8th, like I just don't give a damn anymore. Like I don't care what comes out. I'm just looking forward to sitting down, investing myself in Destiny 2, just playing the hell out of this game with you guys, enjoying my time with this game. It's just had so much fun with Destiny, so many great memories with Destiny. Can't wait to make all new ones with Destiny 2. Love everything that we've seen so far of the reveal, and just super pumped to learn more about it at E3 and in the months building up to the release. The beta comes out this summer. We're actually going to be playing Destiny 2 in the coming months here, and man, just goosebumps, hype, just adrenaline running through me as we watch this reveal here. I'm just pumped, dude. Brent, take us home, man. Your parting thoughts on Destiny 2.
Dude, they're adding the stuff I wanted from the first game, and the gameplay's still there. The gameplay looks taut. It looks intense. We're getting a thick story. We're getting a world that's worth spending time exploring. There's gonna be hidden secrets all throughout. We're gonna learn more about the characters, the guys and girls that led us through the first Destiny. I'm getting everything I want out of this. So I'm just as excited as you guys. I'm ready for September 8th, and it's got to get here quick.
Yeah. So September 8th, we will relaunch Short Pause as a Destiny fan site. So be on the lookout for that. We've been building to it for a long time. So look out for Short Destiny or
Destiny Pause.
Destiny Pause. Yeah, we'll decide on what name to go with. But we want to know your thoughts on the Destiny 2 reveal. So hit us up, podcast@shortpause.com. Send us an email. Let us know your thoughts on it, what you liked, what you didn't like, what your concerns are, what you're hyped about, any and everything. We want to hear it all. Let us know, and maybe we could read some of that stuff on the show in the future.
All right, well, yeah, that's the Destiny moment. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And welcome back. Thanks again to Ruel Ethan for providing the music for this podcast. He's a very talented young man. Follow him on Twitter at Ruel Ethan. Check out his music on SoundCloud and iTunes. Whew! That was a big section, guys. That was a lot of Destiny love right there. You could tell we were very, very excited. That's why we couldn't record like the rest of the podcast on Friday night, because we just knew we were going to be too excited. So we had to take the night off, come here on Saturday, be nice and relaxed. But no, we're really excited for Destiny 2. We hope you guys and girls are as well. The Short Pause Guardians, the clan will be up and running. Make sure you follow us on PSN. We'll get you in there. We'll be playing on there for sure. All right, let's jump into the rest of the news that didn't matter at all this week. First up, Ubisoft details their AAA plans for the rest of the fiscal year, and they confirmed a ton of new big games are coming this fiscal year.
Dude, I thought this was so weird.
Why is that?
Just the way they did this. I mean, these are their big time franchises. They just threw them all out as part of an earnings call. Like, yeah, these are all coming.
Yeah,
Love
it
earnings
was the strangest way to unveil a AAA slate I've ever seen.
Yeah. So during this earnings call, Ubisoft confirmed that both Assassin's Creed and Far Cry will return in the 2017-2018 fiscal year release window, which runs from April 1st last month to March 31st next year. They also announced that South Park: The Fractured Butthole, and which is coming out this year on October 17th, and The Crew, the sequel to The Crew, are also to return in this time frame as well. So we've got Assassin's Creed Origins confirmed for this fiscal year. We got Far Cry 5 officially confirmed, The Crew 2 announced, and South Park: The Fractured Butthole coming out this year. And this is all an earnings call, not some cool press release, just an earnings call. Boys, what's your thoughts on these slated games coming out, man? I mean, this is just Ubisoft's going big.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was very strange the way they treated this kind of an announcement or reveal or whatever. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Far Cry in recent weeks, so we knew something was coming. We just expected it to be at E3. You know, why they didn't just roll all this out at E3 is a bit strange. But, you know, they also confirmed their date and time for E3, so they're going to be in their typical Monday slot prior to Sony's conference, and this has suddenly turned into a really big show now. We're assumedly for the first time, unless over the next couple weeks they unveil some of this stuff, we're assumedly for the first time going to see Assassin's Creed Origins, a game it's the first Assassin's Creed that's taken a year off in who knows how long. So the first time since they've started going like yearly on those releases. So the first time the franchise is taking a year off. So there's a lot of expectations around this game and how it's going to change or how it's going to update the formula or whatever. So there's a lot of anticipation around that. Far Cry 5, a huge title. That's for them. It's one of their tentpole franchises. The Crew 2, which was a surprise hit for them, which a lot of people got into. And South Park now is an official release date. So this is 4 big-time titles that are assumingly going to have a presence at their E3 presser. And, and you have to assume they're going to have their typical one more thing at the end of the show that's going to be some big-time game that's set for the future. Splinter Cell, which is the one I've been thinking about as well. So, yeah, so this suddenly turns into, a really big conference, man, that I'm looking forward to seeing. And, yeah, I think they've got a potential blockbuster lineup set for the rest of this year and probably into 2018 a little bit with some of these titles. And I can't wait to see it, man.
Yeah, and I mean, they can actually have 4 more one more things because the publisher outline plans to release 8 AAA games in the next 2 years. So we know of 4 of them. At least 4 others that we still don't know about yet. So, I mean, they still have a lot they could reveal at E3. One of them could be Splinter Cell. I'd say one of them is definitely... If there's 4 games, 4 major AAA games, one of them Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
So, but one of them that...
With the Scorpio and their history with Xbox, if Xbox is not talking to them about, getting some type of Splinter Cell out with that system, I think that's probably a mistake. So I feel like that's something they have to be talking to them about.
Franklin, what's your thoughts on these new reveals from Ubisoft?
I'm actually really excited, man. I was worried that South Park was maybe going to slip into next year. Mm-hmm. So I think dropping that game in October, like that, right now that's the only thing I know of coming in October. I just pre-ordered it finally on the PlayStation Network, so I'll download Stick of Truth hopefully again soon. But yeah, dude, I love Assassin's Creed, so all the stuff that's been leaking, I don't think I was actually on the show when you guys were talking about that initial leak, but look, I love Assassin's Creed. Syndicate just like reignited my love for that franchise, so like I'm glad they took a year off. I hope they've kind of learned the lessons they needed to learn, I suppose, and how that game should function. Especially with Syndicate, I think that game was a lot of really good quality of life improvements to that game. Mm-hmm. That's a franchise that's been going strong for, almost 10 years now, so... Oh, I can't wait, dude. I love Assassin's Creed, so that's, the one thing that I am super excited to finally get to see. Every small thing that's leaked out about that game, I'm just sitting here, look, you guys love talking about this stuff. Just release a damn trailer. Just leak the trailer. So I can't wait though. That's gonna be great. The Crew and Far Cry. I tend to find is that kind of end of the year. I just want a game I can mindlessly kind of have a good time with. That's typically what Far Cry has been for me. So the villains are typically pretty entertaining. I'm not a big Voss fan. I know a lot of people were big on him from 3, but I didn't see the big appeal of him. Mm-hmm. Thought Pagan Min was actually really cool. The Troy Baker one from 4, he's just freaking out there. But I'm still as much as I don't really I'm not a huge Far Cry fan. I still do enjoy my time with the games for the most part. So if they do a structure similar to 4, where you're kind of tackling these different strongholds, I actually really enjoyed that whole gameplay loop, so I'm down. I'd probably pick up a Far Cry 5.
Sounds like it's set in a rural Montana setting, so out in the woods in the mountains is what the big rumor is right now.
No, I like the Far Cry games. Like I said, they're just dumb fun to jump into those worlds. Like you said, taking down outposts is a lot of fun. Exploring the worlds is a lot of fun. Some of the villains are pretty memorable. I actually, I didn't play a whole lot of it because there was just a lot of stuff coming out, and it's Far Cry games kind of require a lot of a time invested to get through all of it. But I thought Far Cry Primal, from what I played, was actually pretty good. I really liked the atmosphere in that game. That world felt deadly. Even when you weren't being attacked, you knew something was nearby that could tear you to pieces. And I really enjoyed that element of Far Cry Primal. So I thought that was a really, really good game. The atmosphere in that game was fantastic.
The only thing I remember people really complaining about was that it was the same map as Far Cry 4. Mm-hmm. Which I
was too worried about getting my throat ripped out by a saber-tooth to look at the map and go, this thing looks like Far Cry 4. That was the least of my worries, dude, wandering through that world.
I don't even think I would notice, to be totally honest with you, but I don't know. I haven't got to Primal, but I lent my copy to a friend. Dude, he loved it. He said, dude, when I'm done with this, just play it. Just do yourself a favor, play it. It's really good. So I need to get to that one sometime.
Yeah, from when I played, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. So,
A lot of people love Far Cry Primal. It was
good.
it was a sleeper hit for a lot of people last year. I think kind of snuck up on them. A lot of us didn't have many expectations for it. It was kind of announced almost like last minute. It was announced late in the year, and then it came out early the following year. So there was not a lot of hype or build up for it, but it ended up coming out, and yeah, a lot of people really took to it and had some good things to say about it.
Absolutely. One of the games that will not be included in that 8 is the Ubisoft Avatar game. In a statement provided, a representative from Ubisoft confirmed that there are no plans to release the game well ahead of Avatar 2's December 18th, 2020 release date. According to Ubisoft, the new Avatar game won't be released before fiscal year 21. For Ubisoft's financial calendar, that means the Avatar game will not be debuted before April 1st, 2020. So don't expect that anytime soon.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, boys, the Ubisoft E3 press conference time has been set for June 12th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you tune into that, as they have 4 AAA games coming out between now and next year that they haven't talked about yet. So they do have potential to have a pretty big show in terms of reveals. All right, so let's go from Ubisoft to Nintendo. First up, the ARMS Global Test Punch has been announced. The Global Test Punch will run on the following dates. In North America, Friday, May 26th to Sunday, May 28th, and Friday, June 2nd to Sunday, June 4th. In Europe, May 27th to May 28th, and Saturday, June 3rd to June 4th. But they're like these goofy-ass hours again. And the times that these will be available: Friday, May 26th, 5 p.m. to 5:59. Saturday, 5 a.m. to 5:59. And then again at 11 a.m. to 11:59. And 5 p.m. to 5:59. So 3 times on Saturday for 59 minutes. On Sunday, if you want to get up at 5 a.m. or 8 a.m. Eastern Time, you can play for another 59 minutes, or 11 a.m. to 11:59 Pacific Standard Time. So those are your chances for this week, and that was all Pacific Time, by the way.
Those are all Pacific.
All those times are Pacific Time. So I guess 8 p.m. to 8 to 9 o'clock isn't so bad on the East Coast, but.
Except for the fact that we're all at work. So
right. Yeah, no kid. And then June 2nd, Friday, 5 p.m. to 5:59. Saturday the 3rd, 5 a.m. to 5:59 a.m. And then 11 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. And then 5 p.m. to 5:59. And then Sunday, 5 a.m. to 5:59 a.m. And then 11 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. So those are your times. Other news about ARMS, it will receive free updates post-launch. Nintendo said that ARMS would get free updates in the form of new characters, arms, and stages after its June 16th launch. The company revealed several new characters and modes coming to ARMS during the presentation this week. So free characters, free maps, free stages, all that stuff after the launch on June 16th. Moving from one awesome game to the next, we got our first look into the info of Splatoon's single player. The official description of the story mode from Nintendo explains that Callie, of Squid Sisters fame, has gone missing, and it's up to you, with the help of Marie, to search for Callie and the great Zapfish while battling against the Octarian army.
Could you read that description one more time?
Absolutely not.
I thought you did it so well.
Splatoon just... Okay. Well, I know. Hey, I don't even think Bender's excited for this game. That says a lot about this one.
I was not a big fan of what I played in the test fire or whatever the hell it's called for Splatoon. It's a test fire, right? That's what it was for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a test punch like ARMS. It's a test fire.
Because you have guns.
Yeah, because you have guns. You have water guns or paint guns. And yeah, I just wasn't a big fan of the way it played. But clearly I'm not the target audience for this game, so I don't even think it matters.
No. Frankie, any interest in the campaign of Splatoon 2 now that you've heard that it's about Callie and the great Zapfish?
No, you keep her.
There you go. This is what happens when Bender's not around. Last bit of Nintendo news.
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda mobile game is reportedly in development. The Wall Street Journal claims that The Legend of Zelda will follow in the footsteps of Animal Crossing, Super Mario, and Fire Emblem as the next big-name Nintendo franchise heading to your mobile device. Although not much information was offered, The Wall Street Journal said the Zelda mobile game will follow the Animal Crossing app that is reportedly being released in the latter half of 2017 after several delays. The Legend of Zelda on mobile will be developed with DNA. So there's another game we can buy on our phones and never play.
Sweet.
Good
Do
stuff.
you think they're gonna do like a like an actual like maybe 2D style Zelda on there, or what do you think they're gonna tackle for a phone Zelda?
It's going to be something that focuses on touch play, and I don't know if a 2D game would work with touch. I mean, it's going to have to be something that's unique. You know, what if it's just like a 2D endless running Zelda game?
It's
Probably
just
a way to make a boss rush game like that, maybe.
It's true. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't. Like I said, Mario Run was really fun. It was cool for about 10 minutes, and I just stopped playing it. I just can't get into mobile gaming, dude. I can't get into it. It's just not for me. It's cool, but if anyone's excited about this, let us know. Podcast@shortpause.com. Bender, you don't have to write in. Boys, what's going on in the world of PlayStation?
Nex Machina is dropping on June 20th. We have a release date for it now. I mean, look, Housemarque's one of my favorite developers. I've said this a million times. I can't wait for this game. Looks totally badass. The one thing about this game is that it appears to only have local co-op at this point, which is a strange move for Housemarque, whose entire catalog has online co-op. So I'm not sure why this particular title would only have local co-op, because obviously that means we cannot get online and play with each other now, which is irritating. Franklin, any idea why this game would only have local co-op? Have you heard one thing or another why that would be the case? And obviously Housemarque is, I mean, they've made a name for themselves over the years. They're a pretty big time developer now, so it seems strange that one of their next big titles would only have local co-op. So we'll have to try and get to the bottom of this, but I remain super pumped for this game, and it looks incredible. The new trailer for the game. I just really can't wait to get my hands on it. Kick-ass soundtrack, kick-ass twin-stick shooter gunplay, typical Housemarque stuff. Brent, you excited for this game?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be, I'm sure this will be a fun game to play. But, you know, for a game that features co-op and it doesn't have online, that is just really strange to me. You know, I mean, it's obviously, you know, Resogun wasn't co-op, and that's fine. Or, I mean, actually you could, but it was still a fun game to play on your own. But, like, you know, Alienation, you know, these games are really fun cooperative online because it's cool. We don't all live in the same city. We can hop on and play. I can't sit there and play Nex Machina with my son. His character will be just turning in circles, not doing anything. So it's just strange that a game like this would not have the online portion. To me, that's actually kind of a bummer because their games are so well done for cooperative. When their games have co-op, they're so well done, and I'm just really kind of bummed about that. But based on what we saw in the trailer, the gameplay-wise, like you said, it looks great. Soundtrack sounds awesome. I'm sure it'll be a great experience. Just the whole local co-op thing is very strange.
Yeah, it's a bit odd, but I've played through every single Housemarque game by myself, as well as cooperatively with the ones that had that as an option, and they've always been really, really good games solo as well. So Alienation was a little bit different. It was much tougher than some of their other games solo-wise. So that one almost begged to be played cooperatively. I couldn't even beat the last level unless I was playing with somebody. I had to hop in with a group to actually beat the last level in that game. So Nex Machina looks challenging, looks to have that signature Housemarque, just balls to the wall action. And local co-op, no local co-op, online co-op, regardless, I'm really pumped to get my hands on this. Frankie, you excited about this one?
Yeah, this is one of the last games I was able to pick up before they added sales tax to Ohio. So I've had that pre-order sitting there. I'm glad. I didn't think it was going to be coming out this soon. Honestly,
Yeah,
I figured.
I didn't think either.
Yeah, I figured maybe this would be like end of the year, but I'm excited, man. I think that's a good time for it to come out. So looking forward to hopping in there. Maybe we can do the old share play.
Oh yeah,
That's the way we're gonna have to.
And we all have PS4 Pros now, so we can activate share play at 60 frames and play this game the way it's meant to be played. So I definitely, yeah, if we can get a stream up with this game running at, or not even a stream, but just a video of this game running in share play, so people can get an idea of how that particular feature works. I don't think a lot of people realize how well that feature can work in some of these games.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, looking forward to this one a lot. So June 20th, we got a date for it. Another game we've got a date for, Elite Dangerous, is arriving June 27th. This is the space sim game. Frankie said it's out now on Xbox One. Mm-hmm. It is coming out June 27th for the PS4 in its kind of final release state. So if you've been interested in the game, check out that. And Ace Combat 7 has been delayed until 2018. So, which is honestly probably the best thing that could ever happen in this game. So there's a lot of stuff on the docket for this year, and if it were to come out this year, it'd probably come out in the fall, sometime in the middle of a bunch of other awesome releases. So this is a game that begs to be released either. I don't even know if the spring's a good time to release games anymore, but this is a game that begs to be released in the summer when there's not a lot of other stuff coming out around it, so it can get the time that it needs to shine. But really curious about the VR mode in this game. Mm-hmm. I believe it involves skydiving. So,
it does.
So skydiving in a VR headset sounds totally rad, and I want to see that in action. We'll have to wait till 2018 to see that, though.
That's all right. Not too worried about that. It does sound really cool. Skydiving in a game.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean you have to lay on the floor or like on a stool or something and be like this, like laying down to really get the effect? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I told you before VR came out about planking to play Eagle Flight, and I never got a chance to do that, but I still want to do that at some point. Just lay out and play Eagle Flight.
I don't do heights well in VR, dude. Playing Farpoint, there's a section where you have to like scale along a wall. That's just a drop off a ledge. Didn't do well, dude. Skydiving, I might throw up all over. I might turn into Taz playing a skydiving game. So
that explains your tit sweat in that game.
A whole lot of tit sweat.
Yeah.
Up next, we had some NPD April results. First up, the Switch is the best-selling console in April. 2 months in a row for the Switch. Bravo. Doing very, very, very well. And
the funny thing about that is the number 2 console, the NES Classic.
Unbelievable.
Weird.
The discontinued NES Classic.
Maybe it'll take never mind.
which is shocking to me because I didn't even think that thing was available. So I don't know how in the hell it became the second best-selling console in April. But, hey, more power to them.
But hey, let's just get rid of it. It's just money. On the software side of things, the top 10 best-selling games for April 2017, according to NPD, was number 1, Mario Kart 8. Shocking. That game was selling like crazy. That game did very, very well. Number 2.
Not shocking.
Persona 5. That's pretty good. For
also, Persona 5 doesn't, or Mario Kart for that matter, don't include digital sales. So both of those are significantly higher. I would assume, especially in the case of Persona, with the large install base of the PS4, a lot of those people are starting to buy digital titles. I would assume that those numbers are higher for both of those games.
Mm-hmm.
It was on a PS3 as well, right?
Yeah, it was on the PS3 as well.
Yeah, it was. Number 3, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, still going strong. So Mario got 2 of the top 3 spots. Number 4, MLB The Show. 17, The Show's still going strong. Number
Baseball
5,
season, full swing.
Tom Clancy, Ghost Recon Wildlands. Number 6, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 7, Mass Effect Andromeda.
Still charting.
Number 8, NBA 2K17. Number 9, Overwatch. And number 10, Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
That's so weird.
Black Ops 2 was number 10. And that's all digital, right? It has to be because it's backwards compatible?
Yep.
Well, you can buy a disc for it still if you can find them, right? Didn't they re-release this disc or something?
I don't remember hearing that.
I don't know.
I thought they re-released one of these recently.
I thought they had a combo pack of Black Ops and Black Ops 2 that maybe they re-released because they're both backwards compatible.
Maybe, yeah.
Well,
maybe
that would have charted too, though, right? Like,
maybe I don't know. They count combo packs. I'm not sure how they do that.
I don't know.
Wow. Black Ops 2, number 10. That's great.
Above Infinite Warfare.
Oh, poor Infinite Warfare. Just dying. This is like, Infinite Warfare is like the first Call of Duty in a while that has been just irrelevant, almost 7 months after launch.
Yeah, that's weird, dude, that game's not even in the top 10.
Yeah.
At all.
Usually that's how it works. The previous year Call of Duty hangs around the top 10 until
until the next one
midsummer.
comes out. Yeah.
Yeah, until midsummer. And Black Ops 2 beat out Infinite Warfare. That speaks volumes about what fans thought about Infinite Warfare.
Weird.
So there's your MPD numbers. Let's jump into some Xbox news to close things out. First up, Microsoft renews the trademark for Scalebound. It is not in production right now, as we know. The publisher renewed its trademark on the name this month, spotted by Twitter user Y2K Onya, despite being no immediate danger of losing its registration. Predictably, speculation has emerged that the company will restart development with a new developer. However, it may be the company simply wants to reserve the right to restart a new project under the same name in the future, or it could simply be ensuring that no one begins a project under the same name with the hopes of using it as an expiration. So they just reserved it. They renewed the trademark. It does not mean this thing is back in active production. They're just protecting the name. I mean, could it be in production? Sure, but there's nothing to indicate that this is going on right now.
No, there's no way this game is in production. Why in the hell would they cancel it and then restart development on it? That makes no sense.
Yeah, because if they're starting it, it's starting over. Nobody is going to start making a platinum games if they're not platinum games.
My thought on this is, does this mean that Platinum has the rights to all of the assets for this game? Maybe just outside of the name. So, like, are they doing that so they can protect the name of Scalebound, so that if Platinum were to take their stuff and try to do this elsewhere, maybe for like Sony or one of their competitors, or just on a third party level, just to prevent them from using the name? Like, would this be a reason that they would do that? Or why else would they renew the trademark for the name?
I mean, I don't know why they would. I mean, they've given the two reasons why they possibly did, just to protect the name. But I mean, I don't know that we would.
What are you protecting at this point with the name? It's like, does Scalebound even mean anything for them?
It means a lot to Xbox people. They'll know what it is. They'll know what Scalebound is. If somebody releases a Scalebound, they'll be like, "Oh, is this the Scalebound that we were supposed to get?" So I mean, people will remember Scalebound, and I don't think Xbox wants anyone making money off that name if it's not the product that they thought it would be.
So that's why I went to the thought that maybe Platinum still has access to all of the assets for this game, and maybe they can still do something with this if they want to. Like, maybe they have the, I don't know if there's rights involved with that or whatever, but interesting to think about.
Up next, 343 says no. Halo 3 Anniversary Remaster is not planned. This is hilarious. 343 community manager Brian Gerard responded to speculation about a celebratory remaster on Reddit, saying, "Oh my God, stop. There is no Halo 3 Anniversary." That was his actual reply on Reddit. "Oh my God, stop. There is no Halo 3 Anniversary." So for those of you that were super excited for that, it's not happening.
Am I the only one that was like, why would anybody think there was a Halo 3 Anniversary when they basically remastered the game in the Master Chief Collection, right?
Yep, exactly. ODST as well.
Yeah, so why was anybody thinking there would be another remaster of Halo 3?
Yeah.
Was that actually like something was being bandied about?
Because gamers. Because gamers.
Yeah.
Very strange, but I thought that was an awesome response. "Oh my God, stop." He's tired of it. Up next, Marvel Heroes Omega launches on Xbox One June 20th. So it'll be over there as well. You expect it to do very well there too, boys?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an appealing game like we talked about. It's free to play. The barrier to entry is very low. And like I said, from what I understand from the way this game operates on the PC, the barrier to not only entry is low, but the barrier to getting all the characters and getting the most out of the game is supposedly low as well. So you can earn the different things that you need to unlock the other characters as you play through the game naturally. So that's a huge boon for a game like this. And I think it's going to do very well over there.
Cool. Frankie, you going to pick it up over there too? Jump on it?
Yeah, why not? It's free.
It's free to play. Why not? And last bit of news, Arena on Xbox Live has launched for Killer Instinct. You'll find a new tab labeled Tournaments in the Game Hub. Within this tab, you'll be able to see upcoming tournaments you can register for directly on your Xbox One dashboard for Killer Instinct. Also launching on your Xbox One are the first ever game-created tournaments through Arena for Killer Instinct. You'll be able to create tournaments for your Xbox Live Club in the Xbox app on Windows 10 PCs. Frankie, what do you think of this new arena stuff, man? Good stuff?
Sure.
You going to jump in there and create some tournaments?
Nope.
Okay, well, there you go. One more thing we want to touch on before we wrap up the show. Last week we talked about how there might be a new Thief game in the works, and we were all devastated. Don't worry. There is no Thief sequel. It was squashed by the developer. The next Thief game is not in development.
Do you have the tweet? You should read the tweet.
I got it right here.
Yes.
Apparently we're developing Thief 5 game. So now we have a title. We just have to build a team, a budget. Forget it.
That's all you really needed to hear. So I'm thrilled.
It was also there was a screenshot of Thief 5 and a picture of Thief like on this guy's computer screen as attached to this tweet as well. So it was a good bit of fun from David Amfossi, head of Nex Montreal.
Very clever. Glad he actually made me happy. I'm glad there's no new Thief game in development. So, all right, guys, that was a big show. We hope you all enjoyed the Destiny 2 section. I know we had a lot to talk about there, but it's a game we love. It's a game that we're happy to see expanding upon what they created the first time around. They didn't change the core gameplay elements. They added all the stuff that we really wanted to see added to this game. I mean, nothing else really mattered this week, you guys. I mean, Frankie, did anything else really matter this week outside of Destiny 2?
No. I got the digital deluxe upgrade for my Destiny 2 pre-order.
There you go. Now you go. You're maxed out. Now you got everything. You're good to go.
Yeah.
I got to get that pre-order so I can get that theme, dude. I want to hear that music. So good.
Nothing matters because Destiny 2 is life, and it comes out September 8th. And we're relaunching as a Destiny fan site at that point. So I'm looking forward to it.
Shortpauseguardians.com. It's just going to be our central hub for everything.
That's like the tower for our clan, or for the clan of the Short Pause Guardians. Just come to the tower, i.e. the website, and then we'll take care of you from there. So
seriously, man, I'm like voraciously gobbling up any nugget of information I can get on this game. I'm watching YouTube channels. I'm scouring the internet. I'm trying to pull in everything I can about this game. The hype level is way up there right now.
Let's just get to the beta already, okay? Let's just get to the beta.
You see that as the that now available moment at the Sony press conference?
Oh my god, that has to be where it's at, dude. It has to be where it's at.
Destiny 2 is definitely going to be at that show, so I think that's a great move if they can pull that off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I won't even be there for the live reaction video. I'm just gonna go right to playing that. So sorry, guys.
Yeah, so hopefully that won't happen, or they'll shut down the
we'll
site.
We'll do a live
for the
reaction to the E3 presser as we play the beta. That
it'll just be our Destiny 2 beta stream, but we'll talk about the conference.
Perfect. There you go. All right, gentlemen, where can we find you gaming and tweeting, Mr. Boyce?
As always, Brent, I will be not tweeting at Piccolo930. Of course, that's my PSN ID as well, Piccolo930. You can find me at the Switch on there as well. Friendly reminder to check out the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight, even though I won't be on there this week. Bender will be on there. He'll do a damn good job with Embers of Miram. So come on there, check it out, 10 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel, Short Pause Gaming. Check it out, subscribe, be there every week as we fire up some new games. Have a good time.
Boom. Franklin.
You can find me on Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, the Nintendo Network at Viperstrike, VYPRSTRYKE.
Simple as can be. You can find me on Xbox Live, The Real Dude 79, PlayStation Network and Nintendo Switch, The Dude 79, and on Twitter, barely tweeting, at The Dude 1979. Visit the website, www.shortpause.com. Follow us on Twitter, at The Short Pause. If you enjoy this podcast, if you really, really like it, go over to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, write all sorts of lovely things about us. If you don't want to do that, if you want to be a dick and call our show shit, that's fine. Send us an email, podcast@shortpause.com. Just make sure you list why it's shit. That way we can kind of fix the show for you so you'll enjoy it. So podcast@shortpause.com, or you can drop into the comments on the website, www.shortpause.com. Look for the podcast post. You can type right there. We read those every day. We need to hear from you. It's the only way we're going to make this show better. You listeners are the reason we do this. You're the reason we want to be able to provide a show to you that you can listen to every single week that you never want to miss. You can find this podcast on, here we go, Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and TuneIn Radio. You can just go to any of those, type in Short Pause Gaming, and we got you covered. You can also watch it on YouTube. Go to Short Pause Gaming, subscribe to the channel. Podcast usually goes up every night, every Sunday, probably around 10 o'clock. That's when the video is available. So make sure you subscribe, comment, like the videos if you like them. If you don't like them, let us know why. Send us an email, podcast@shortpause.com. For the next couple of weeks, per usual, next week is Memorial Weekend, so there will not be a show that weekend. However, the following week, we will have our E3 predictions for you. It's a big time of the year, so we'll come back from a weekend off. We'll be rested. We're going to get you the E3 predictions, and then the following week, there won't be another podcast, but we will have reactions Sunday night, Monday night, and Tuesday. We'll be covering all the videos or all the streams, all the conferences. We have a lot planned for you in the next couple of weeks. So no podcast next weekend. The following week, we'll have a podcast and the E3 predictions. And then the following week, your typical Short Pause E3 coverage where we just burn ourselves out big time. Gosh, that is seriously a brutal stretch of days. It's so fun, but like at the end of the night, we're just like, just want to go to bed.
It's probably going to be much. We're going to be a lot fresher this year because all of the conferences are spread out.
Yes.
So typically Monday is back to back to back to back to back, and everybody's conference is all. But now we've got EA on Saturday, we've got Bethesda and Microsoft on Sunday, we've got not Nintendo, but Ubisoft and Sony on Monday, and then Nintendo on Tuesday. So we're spread out over 4 days.
You know, I think Devolver Digital is doing a conference this year too.
They are.
I can't wait to see that too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're gonna have to find out when their schedule is. We gotta find out about if Warner Brothers might do one.
Yeah, I'm
Ooh.
still expecting Warner Brothers to pop in there and do something, but
Yeah.
maybe they don't have anything else to show outside of Mordor. I don't know.
Possible.
Hey guys, next time I'm on the show, I'm gonna be engaged.
Yeah, that's crazy, Franklin. You're taking the plunge, dude. You're taking the plunge.
Yeah. So I won't be here live for E3 pre E3 week.
Pre-E3 week. Well, we'll get your thoughts. We're going to get your thoughts, but he won't be here for that podcast. So we'll have Franklin, but Franklin's going to be he's going to be handing his balls over to the missus. So good for you, Frankie. Great choice.
That's about it. You've
All right.
castrated Frankie, and that's the end of the show.
So for Mr. Boyce, Mr. Ayler, I'm Brent Felsing. Thanks again for listening to the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks. Good night, everybody.
See you guys.
See ya.